All right, guys, welcome back to Twin Hammer. We've got our amazing lineup of the top players in Canada, or most of the top players in Canada. We've got Khoa, we've got Devin, we've got Voyin, we've got Vivek. You guys are amazing. I'm so pumped to have you all back. We had a great time at World Championships, and now we are back, finally breathing a beautiful breath of fresh air as the Data Slate has been released. That we are even craving right around Worlds, which was like a couple months before that. And now we are here. Now we are excited. We have to acknowledge, there's been a lot of amazing kill team content from Can You Roll a Crit, from squad games. So we want to do a little bit of a different tier list here for not only the Canadian scene, because we're going to be hearing from our top Canadian players here, but for anyone in general who is maybe eyeing a kill team or eyeing a new kill team. We're going to be talking about what we think the overall strength they are in the meta. How easy are they to use, or do they require skill to really unlock the full team? And then do we think they have a lower overall ceiling for a competitive nature if you want to go win and get your golden ticket for the next World Championships? We're generally going to be looking at the ones who we think are going to be stronger in the meta. And usually for a beginner player, you're going to be looking at our top right of this graph that we've created here. So something that's strong, easy to use. And then once you're in the game for a while and you want something that requires a little more skill, a little more challenge, you can do it. Or maybe we're going to look at one that's right at the top, right in the middle, that gives you a little bit more flavor, but is not very a big cognitive load to operate, right? And all of the guys in this pod have such experience. I think everyone here is 150 games to 200 games plus of kill team world championship players here. So a lot of experience on each of the team. We've either played them, built them, or played against them, or studied the hell out of them. So we're about to get started, boys. So amazing to have all of you guys back, gentlemen, scholars, class acts over here. Khoa and Vivek, you guys just went to the Las Vegas Championships as well. That was excited, and you actually played in a kind of pre-data slate from Dakota at Squad Games, and that was excited. That was exciting. Vivek, we talked a little bit about that in the last pod. Cole, we missed you. You had kill team fever.
Yeah.
But
Airport fever.
now.
But you're back, and guys, welcome. We're gonna get right into it. We want to hear from everybody, and we are gonna start with the first team here, which, Devin, we're gonna throw it right to you because the first team is Angels of Death. So
I would put them middle of the right-hand side. Pure middle of the top right quadrant.
Okay, pure middle, top right quadrant here, like here.
Yeah. So
Yes.
They are easy to use. These guys are stat sticks, right? They don't have any neat tricks. They just have high stats, they do damage, and they don't die. So they're easy to use because it's security and seek and destroy for tac ops. So you're able to either go take ground if you're playing on Volcus with any stronghold on the middle line, or if you're playing into something a little bit squishier, you can do something like Overrun, take something from Seek and Destroy, or you can maybe do Contain. Just by basic stats, they're going to be high in the meta because they are an elite team. They do have the double shoot, double fight. They can counteract on Conceal. With Wrath of Vengeance, they can double counteract. With Tilting Shields, they're able to ignore any non-6 crit in melee for one fight sequence. So they're pretty good. However, I wouldn't call them as S tier as people think, because if you're into any team that has any type of, let's call it tomfoolery, you're at a loss, right? The moment anyone can do something that messes around with positioning or anything like that, you have no counter to it. Yes, you've got to ignore obscuring on an 8-inch bubble with your faction equipment aspects.
Yep.
Or on your eliminator for 1 AP, but that's it. Yes, you've got 2 grenade throwers. Yes, you've got the sniper. Yes, you've got the sergeant, but your faction, your chapter tactics are locked for a tournament.
Now they're locked, yeah. Or were they locked before as well?
For this entire edition, they've been locked. And they are locked for the entire team. You cannot set chapter tactics per model. So that's where their weaknesses come in, is that, legionaries, you can choose your mark per model per game. So you're able to really fine tune that based on your matchups. And this one, you kind of need to do a jack of all trades sub. So I typically run a siege specialist as my primary. So that is all ranged attacks have saturate. Just because Volkus has so much cover. And then now I run duelist as my secondary, which is in melee, successes can parry crits. Crits can double block regular successes. And that actually served me very well at Grand Clash last week in Trois Rivières. So they're good. They've got some stuff around. So typically you will run 3 of your faction equipment. So you're going to do Purity Seals for your discard 2 fails to retain a regular hit. You'll do Chapter Reliquary to do Wrath of Vengeance for free on an engaged operative. So this is the firefight play that lets you do 2 different 1 AP actions in your counteract. Yep. So this is good for, let's say, a 2-inch charge fight, shoot, tap objective, gives him some stuff to do it for free. Tilting Shields you'll typically take if you're fighting into anyone who has half decent melee who can crit with either lethal 5-up, rending, severe, anything like that. Because that can be a very big difference. And then you'll take barricades, light barricades as your 4th equipment.
Nice.
So
what would be the playing style? How do you play these guys?
So typically I will run Assault Intercessor Sergeant, 2 Assault Intercessor Warriors, Assault Intercessor Grenadier, Intercessor Gunner, and 8 times out of 10, the Eliminator. But sometimes, especially into, let's say, Hierotek, or some horde teams, you take the Heavy Gunner. Just because, so for Hierotek, I found you want to take the Heavy Gunner just because those 18 wounds, you need them because Hierotek will run piercing on everything. And you need someone who can get the weight of dice in on them. But 8 times out of 10, you take your Eliminator. And what you do is you'll play a backline of your Gunner Eliminator, and then you're just going to run 4 guys straight up in the face, especially with duelists. And what you'll always do is your Assault Intercessor Sergeant will be heavy bolter pistol and power weapon. So he's going to be 5 attacks hitting on 3, 4, 6, lethal 5-up. And then you take his 3rd chapter tactic, which is going to give you rending in melee. So you're 5 hitting on 3, 4, 6, lethal 5-up rending, double parry, everything.
Wow.
He will win fights, multiple fights.
Yeah. And you got your four assault intercessors and then your 2 back heavy gunners. I like that split. I like that play style. And now do you think that you are going to be like way better served against the legionaries, the warp covens of the meta now?
Yeah, especially because the Eliminator, he's heavy dash, but he does have his bolt pistol. But you do have a Seek Light profile. And the benefit of a Seek Light profile is someone's taking, let's say, portable barricades. Seek Light prevents him from getting that improved save. So not only do you have Seek Light, but you also have Saturate. So if someone's trying to play into that, that 2-up save on a Legionary because of the portable barricade or something like that, and let's say Into the Dark, he doesn't get it. And you can shoot him off it. Fine, it's going to be chip damage, but it's better than nothing. So it's pretty good. You do well into elites. Pretty much all elites. Hierotek gives you problems because of their tricks. Blooded, for me, it could just be me. I've always had issues with Blood because they've had too many threats.
Yep. Just spoke with Ratman. He loves playing into elites. So
yeah, it's like, oh, you killed my guy. Okay, I've got 2 other Melta Gunners and my Ogren. Okay, great. We did a 1-for-1 trade. I've got 12 more guys left.
Yeah. He said that the team could unlock a lot of different things at different times, right? We'll talk about Blooded, but definitely a tough matchup for Angels of Death.
Yeah. For my MVP operative, before I would have said Eliminator, but I think he can be a little bit of a trap. Because you're going to focus too much on your Eliminator, and especially into teams like, let's say, Hierotek or whatnot. You think he's the right pick because of the piercing and the damage. but he only has 12 wounds, the Eliminator. He still has the 3-up save. He's got the 7-inch move, but he only has 12 wounds. I'd have to say the MVP is going to be your Assault Intercessor Sergeant. He gives you a strategic ploy for free. So combat doctrine, either assault or tactical. And with how this edition plays, you're either going to be shooting within 6 or you're going to be in melee. He gets the 3rd chapter tactic. So 15 wounds, 5 hits, hitting on 3, 4-6, lethal 5-up rending, double parry. And if you spend the CP, you give him shock assault. So he gets +1 damage on your first hit and shock. And with lethal 5-up rending, and if you're balanced in melee,
you're winning. You're winning those fights.
I had a game at Grand Clash. My Assault Intercessor Sergeant fought a Legionary Melt-A-Gunner, killed him without taking any damage, then fought the Sorcerer, the Balefire Acolyte, and took 1 hit and killed both of them.
Wow. So what I'm doing right now, anyone here who wants to join Kill Team from Space Marine 2, what Devin just described is your Space Marine captain just fucking beheading two Chaos Space Marine warriors on the tabletop. So what you see in game, we just described, Angels of Death are the Space Marines, and Devin is basically playing Space Marine 2 with this badass Assault Sergeant Space Marine.
And especially for new players, the starter kit doesn't give you everything, but it gets you, I don't know exactly what the starter kit gives you, but it gets you very close. And the other benefit of Angels of Death is that you have your other sergeant, and you also have your captain. Your captain is your weakest leader option. He doesn't give you your free strategic ploys. He's got just a scratch for the first damage taken, but he is the best power fist wielder in the game. So if you're playing it to someone like Plague Marines, that would be pretty much the only time you take your captain.
Yeah, don't take him into Plague Marines.
Yeah. Really?
They'll take your 7 damage power fist and make him 6 damage, and then you 3 dice and cry.
Yes, but you can also shock assault. It's brutal.
You can't shock assault the power fist.
No, it's because shock assault is +1 damage to a maximum of 7. So you can still do it on your normal hits.
You can. It's still rough.
Yeah,
it's
but
still going to take you to 3 dice. And you're -1 to hit. It's not fun. Don't do it.
You're on 3, so this is a difference of opinion, but he is still the best one for power fists.
He is.
And also it depends into the Plague Marine player you're playing. I mean, for me, it'd be a 50-50. Do I take the captain, or do I still take my Assault Intercessor Sergeant and just chip the hell out of him? But they are a decent team, easy to get into. You can perform decently with them. I went 2 wins and a tie at Clash, beating Legionaries, Mandrakes, and tying Nemesis. And I tied Nemesis because I had a mental brain fart, and I used the wrong profile on my Eliminator to shoot into one of his guys. But they can take you to a decent level.
Make some mayhem on the battlefield, behead. The Tyranids are not in the Patriarch. We could put our Assault Intercessor against the Patriarch of Brood Brothers and behead him like that cool Vivid in the games there. But amazing. This was our first team out. That's great. I think we're all in agreement of this, and I really like where you put them in the easy to use and strength and meta. All right, so now our next one is Blades of Kain. I guess this is going to be alphabetical, which is going to be great for people to follow along with, because it's not going to be random. We're just going to go alphabetically here, and I'm going to throw it over to whoever wants to take Blades of Kain here.
Let's do it. Let's do a co-op, because I don't think any of us have played Blades of Kain, but we all played against it at least a little bit.
Yeah,
I think it is
good.
Yeah, I think it's mirrored where Angel of Death is. So in the top left, in the middle, I think they're pretty strong. I think they're pretty hard. But not like the hardest. They have some forgiving elements. Like the Super Conceal Scorpion is just such a great little tech piece to have in there. Lets you use light on Vulcus. Lets you use light cover in general, which is just great. So much Seek Light running around.
Yep.
So long as you don't run only Dire Avengers.
Oh yeah, you got to run a nice 3-3-2 split. You got to do a little bit of a split. But I think they're quite strong, but they're quite hard, quite unforgiving. They're still 8 wound bodies with a 4-up save, no ability to ignore piercing, so crack grenades hurt.
Yeah. And what we can say is that I've played with them for one tournament. I love their strength of skill set. You have a lot of skills at your disposal. It is even more, I would even more maybe put it towards the left of required skill, because to unlock the team, you really need to know each of the individual. You have 3 types of operatives. You have the Dire Avengers, you have the Blades of Kain, and then you have the Striking Scorpions, and you really need to know how to match them in each. I do think the playstyle is very interesting because you can swap those 3 different types of operatives in it. And I think we've just seen, not only at Las Vegas, because they did well in Vegas, with Chris Bocchi took them, I think, right? In Vegas, but are missing today George, King of Canada last year. He was playing Blades of Kain, and he did very well in the Basement Bastards even before the Data Slate came out. And I know he's been looking at them and working with them for quite a while. And I know people are high, especially on the Banshees. The Striking Scorpions didn't get the 3-up save that everyone was clamoring for. But I think, what do you guys think? I think they should be still okay.
They're fine.
Yeah.
I think you can take a 3-3-2 Dire Avenger, Banshee, Scorpion split every game and feel fine about it. Like, you can reduce that overhead until you learn what's going on and then play around with other parts of it. I think, like, as just that kind of core team, or if you take away some of the complexity, great to go play with. It's 3 APL, a bunch of bodies. You're not really paying for the extra wounds. You're paying for more APL and more damage. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. It's a really
keeping track of everything. Like, I think it's particularly complex, but you have a lot of little things. And once you kind of get them off the cuff, work a little smoother.
Yeah. And I think it'd be good with this to describe, just so we were describing Angels of Death, you're like a Space Marine, you got all these really cool, you feel like a big Space Marine on the tabletop. I think Blades of Kain, it does reward like an elf player, like Khoa, you can attest to this. The more you train like an elf and you get your blade skills sharp for every situation, you're not a big body, but you're a lethal body, and you have all of these amazing tricks. So you really feel like this kind of tricksy, amazingly trained elf who's just badass. So I think that they nailed that play style on the tabletop, and you could feel like all Striking Scorpions, but I think competitively, like you could do all mono of one, like the box Striking Scorpions. You could do mono Banshees and mono Dire, but I think, like Vivek said, probably that 3-3-2 split every game would be the best for being strong in the meta. And then probably
Good
running
practice.
what do you think? Infiltration? Depending if
you can't, if you're running 3-3-2, you can't run infiltrate, because it's seek and destroy, and then it's either security if you're majority Dire Avenger, recon if you're majority Howling Banshee, or infiltrate if you're majority Striking Scorpion. If it's a tie, you have to pick one.
Take ground.
I don't like infiltrate. Infiltrate, seek and destroy is a weird matchup for TAC ops.
Infiltrate is great on or teams that have some bodies to throw away, because if you can throw someone out to tag someone and then they die, it's fine. He might generate anywhere from 2 to all 6 of your points that you need. Good time. But outside of that, it becomes rough. Like, trading damage on an elf into something is rough. Like, you don't want to do it into Horde, because you might as well just kill them. Killing them's points too.
Yeah, and infiltrate is like a strike, counter strike, like playstyle or defensive playstyle. You can't, which you don't want to do with elves. You want to strike first. They're too glass cannony to take hits, and they have to deal the damage while they can. Get in, get out, right? Or double up as much as you can. You hit as hard as a Space Marine, if not harder sometimes with that rending on your pistols. But you just don't have the legs to, if you start failing stuff, they punish you way too heavily, right? So
nice.
Yes, will take you out.
I think if you want to play, I think if you want to play a non-in-your-face, you do Recon Plant Beacon for the 3 APL 7-inch move.
Exactly.
Team dependent, I would say Plant Beacon for sure. I mean, I played them a lot last edition, not in any of our competitive tournaments, but like a lot in our local meta here. And then I do play them. I'm playing them actively right now, actually in the league. So the Plant Beacons is great if you're playing against a very heavy melee team, or you're playing into elites. I actually like Confirm Kill because you're getting into melee combat with most of your heavy hitting operatives anyway. And those 12 wound plus models are worth 2 points each on that confirmed kill, which you have to go forward anyway with elves. And a controversial opinion, I like the security one for them on certain map layouts. Specifically, I think it's map 4 for Volcus. Just because you got those the one with the big strongholds on map 4. I'm 99% sure, but the strongholds are right on the center. They're peeking into both.
Right, dude. Take ground is great. Anytime the stronghold is across the middle, if you have access to take ground,
and then you just run
for it.
You can even run on that map. You can run 4 banshees, 4 dyers. Run none of the striking scorpions because the banshees are just flying over the walls, right, with their acrobatics moves. And then you've got dyers that are just there to pump damage out while also giving you that security tack op. So I don't know.
I like that. So it's like Plant Beacons or Take Ground.
Yeah.
Khoa had a lot of success with Plant Beacons as the 3 APL Void Dancer, right?
Yeah. Such a good tack op.
Right? That's what you were taking primarily, right?
Yeah.
Khoa has proved it from a very competitive standpoint that with the 3 APL elves you can do it. All right, guys, Blades of Kain done. And I think, what do you guys think? I'm leaning towards actually putting it a little bit more like to the left because I do think it's not as forgiving, and I do think you need kind of a great skill set to wield it. What do you guys think?
I think it'd be a little bit more to the right if the box wasn't only striking scorpions.
Yes. It's very
That's
weird.
rough. It's an expensive team.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think because of how heavy they're punished, right, too? Like, it is definitely left. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, like, I had to convert mine up from a variety of elf models that we had. But, like, if you don't convert it, then you are literally buying... If you go out and buy the 3 separate boxes, it's going to cost you $180. So we don't have a price category, but we'll say that it's less
We
accessible.
can hold it against it, especially for require skill and easy to use. Easy to use is also got to be like, I buy the team, I assemble the team, I go play the team, not like I got to go source 4 boxes to think about playing this team. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I think actually that's a great addition there for sure. All right, so next up, what do we got here? We've got the Blooded. We just spoke with Ratman on the Blooded.
Where'd Ratman put this?
So I think we didn't talk about like this kind of placing in general, but I think it would be kind of like in the middle here. I think he said that he's played a tournament and it felt pretty good with him. So I would say it would probably be in the middle. It's a 1-box team, easy to get. It is one of the classified teams if I'm not mistaken.
Over to the left.
So it's the bodies are not like, you have some degree that you have to play the combos. You have to get, he was describing, the right amount of blooded tokens. You want to make sure that you're getting a kill in your trying to get in the first turn so that you can start the second turn with 4 blooded tokens. And you want to be pushing up aggressively. He did a lot of infiltration, I believe, for him, and he was doing surveillance with blooded from what he was saying. So I would say maybe somewhere in the middle here. I think they're very, like, they were not strong. Like, he won his first 2 games at Worlds even before the Data Slate. And so, and then he did fairly well. He played all these, like, he played Alexa, played Dan Byrne, he played, like, Jason Fay. So he did quite well. So I would say, what do you guys think? Right around here?
All right, hang on. Let me make the one argument for why it should be half a square more left.
Okay.
I think most of you agree with me. All right. Horde teams are hard to play by their nature. More bodies, more problems. You have more things to worry about, more value to give up. It is punishing to play a horde team as a newer player into an elite team because you will accidentally lose 3 models at a time because all of your little positioning matters way more because you have no way to absorb the impact. If somebody survives any kind of shooting or fighting activation, you're lucky. Most of the time, they're just going to die.
And Vivek, I think you can also, being a former Vetguard player and probably coming up Vetguard player again, or Deathcore.
We'll see.
Now.
No, they're Vetguard forever. It's the Imperial Guard too.
But I think like you can definitely say, you know, for hordes that the sequencing matters more. Like from a former Pathfinder player to a Vetguard player, the sequencing, if you don't have it perfect on these horde teams, you are so screwed.
You give up 1 blast attack into 4 guys, like, all right, I lose.
Yeah.
On ITD, and I see this happen a lot, horde players will either deploy in super safety, which leaves people hanging out doing nothing half the time just because there's not enough places to stand, or being too aggressive and not knowing, like, all right, when should I be opening and closing my doors, and all. It becomes a nightmare.
Yeah.
More left, like
I have one more left, right?
One more, yeah.
I do agree, and we'll put it. We'll be generous. We just had Ratman on here, so we got to be generous.
I think it's strong. I'm just saying, playing a horde team it's cool. You have all these bodies that do damage, but you have 7 wounds with a 5-up save.
Yeah,
you die to anything that looks to you. Like you Angel of Death, you accidentally leave a couple guys hanging out to be multi-charged, and then a dude to shoot. All 3 of those guys are gonna die.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All right. So we got blooded. That's amazing. And we're gonna shout out that we are building and designing a Skaven blooded team that we're gonna send to Ratman. So that's gonna be amazing.
Nice.
But Brood Brothers next on the menu. I played quite a bit of Brood Brothers. Obviously, George was amazing with Brood Brothers. Again, another horde team, just as Vivek was saying, that requires like good skill use and when to use your operatives. How are we feeling with the Brood Brothers in the strength category? If we're gonna put around the blooded, like another horde team,
I think it would be almost neck and neck.
I kind of like them better than blooded, I'll be honest.
Okay.
Patriarch, it gives them a lot of flex into some matchups.
Well,
it's
and
pretty
the
good.
3 heroes that they can pick,
we're
the
gonna run out of
Patriarch,
space.
the Magus is just gross. Like the APL modification denial and the injury denial is just kind of nuts.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Alex,
as well as the
stack
prime
the cards so that the names there
like
you go.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do Brood Brothers on blooded there. So
yeah, there you go.
They have a ton of tools. Like you mentioned, like I think they kept everything from last edition, especially the
Most of it, all the important
Magus,
stuff.
Yeah, Magus APL down is brutal against certain teams.
Yeah. And like you can go aggressive with Primus too. Like if you want to, you can play aggression,
You
play
can.
defensive,
It
like
just
control.
Suffers from 7 wound, 5-up syndrome, which is you just die, especially when you get a squabble over 3 objectives.
yeah, 100%.
And none of the attack ups are particularly forgiving to just go do. Beacons, you can get close, but you're still gonna kill all those people you send up to do beacons and potentially use them as a locus to go do other offensive actions. It's just rough.
Yeah. So I loved playing Brood Brothers because you did have the really cool creative. I loved it. It felt like, oh man, I'm coming out of the woodwork and I've got like these 3 powerful leaders. Each one could kind of like pop up and lead the team. You do feel like your guys die really quickly, but you also feel like they will like get imbued with the cause for the Wyrmblade and be like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna stay alive just an extra bit. So I do think the playstyle is really fun. I didn't like that they were nerfed to the ground in the new edition because they're such a cool team. I do want to see them more in the meta. So I'm excited that they're back in the mix again. And people have been speaking generally high about them now again. So I do think we got it right for the Brood Brothers here. So
I think what really helped them is that adjustment to the piercing ignoring rules, right? Like
makes plasmas viable again.
Yeah. Being able to just because now you can actually overwhelm elites with enough firepower. Before it was like you're basically just shooting another lasgun at them with a little bit more damage on it.
I think Vivek, we played Warp Coven Brood Brothers game when I was trying to decide which team to play in the new edition, and my Patriarch, I was pretty aggressive with him. You kind of ate him up really quick, and then I pulled some really cool combos off, but it wasn't enough to do the damage needed in that game. So I think Brood Brothers on the rise.
On Volcus, which didn't help at the time.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. All right, so now we've got Chaos Cult.
Woo! Bottom left, next.
From
I don't know. They're definitely on the require skill side, but I don't think they're that low anymore. The adjustments
two
that
torments
brings them up.
Okay,
close
not that high. Knock it down a bunch.
Okay,
it was still super rough. I can tell you right now, it's super rough. No base piercing weapons. Relies on only melee. Where a lot of the strong teams are like, yeah, dude, come on down. We love melee. We'll just melee you over here. It's rough.
The sequencing does hurt them a ton. Like if you don't pull out your mutants and your torments at the right time, you're in trouble. Like I just played against them 2 days ago.
Wow.
And they suffer from like similar problems to any other Horde team without access to Meltus and Plasmas.
Yeah. But I mean,
And-
if you can do well with Felgore in this edition, you can do well with
Frenzy's a whole other animal, though. Frenzy is an
is.
awesome mechanic that helps very much carry them to victory on that one.
But the mutation kinda, I'd argue, does a little bit of that, just because when you mutate them, they get those.
It's a
wounds
little
back.
telegraphed because you got to do the little 2-step. The mid stage guy is whatever. Doesn't even matter.
But that I don't know if you've seen that vortex, the malefic vortex ability is just stupid. It's just a visible spot. It's 2 inches. It doesn't have to be visible to the tokens. So you're just hitting guys through walls with that. So into certain Horde teams and certain low wound models, like elves should be scared of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, anything like that.
And that just stays. And if she keeps like the mind, because it's the mind witch, I believe, that has that. Just picks a spot. You can literally pick an objective. Turn 1, first activation, pop it on that objective, and every time they enter that, they're taking damage. You can replace it in that spot. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because I might have read it wrong. And
It's a decent ping.
But if if that dies, I'm pretty sure the Malefic Vortex just stays.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can
According to this,
it's
remove your marker, if any, then place it visible or on a vantage visible. Inflict 1 damage to each enemy within 2. In the ready step, 1 damage to each within 2. Doesn't say anything about removing it, so that baby is sitting there. Yeah, that is.
It's pretty good.
From a vortex.
right. So you place it, they move into it, and ready step. So you can literally guarantee 2 damage into something, and they can't hide from it. It's like the Pulsar rocket, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but better in my opinion.
Wow.
You can't hide.
I like the going up in the box. Sure, they got a little bit of damage ping.
Yeah.
Mind which can just kick back into it from conceal
so
all
we-
day. It's great.
Yeah. They also recently got accurate 2 on their torments, right? They got more reliable melee now.
Yeah, accurate 2 is on
okay.
every, it has gotten a huge buff on them, so they're still hitting on 4s, but you're now ceaseless on 3 dice, because you guarantee those 2 accurate hits, right? And you're 4/5, you're nothing to mess around with, right? And the wounds
And rending.
12 wounds. Yeah. So
That's
I will
really
say
good.
they suffer into teams that can take confirmed kill. Because, like Vivek said, you've got no range, you got to go forward, and if you kill a torment, that thing's worth 2 points.
Yeah.
On 2 APL with,
Yeah.
I believe, no access to 3 APL. Maybe there's a ploy.
They can give themselves a free fight twice.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll call that like 2 and a 6.
Yeah.
All right. Chaos Cult, yeah. And then this was my conversion that I was planning, is to make some hangry
Cool,
Chaos
yeah.
Cults. And I'm glad that they're on the menu again, because I was about to build this team and then they got nerfed in the new edition. But yeah, the whole idea there for a new player is that your cultists transform during the game, so you feel like you guys are just getting blessed by the Chaos Gods as they go. My team was going to get hangrier by the time that they're ending the game, so they're just these big hangry ogres. So that was the concept I'm going to build out there. But all right, Chaos Cults, guys, we are smashing it right now. We've got the Corsair voidscarred, our second elf team of the day. Where we
These guys are good.
Yeah, they're great.
I almost brought them to Worlds, and then I had to play 2 games into Warp Covenant prep, and I said no.
I'd put them easier than the Brood Brothers and the Blooded, and about the same strength.
Easy to use, hard to master, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we going here about?
I think right about there.
I think because you gotta look at it like new players are gonna find this team, pick up the special rule really quick, but like to use that dash effectively and know when to like how to position the team still requires a lot of skill. So
there's a bunch of reactive tools in there that are like you don't really love.
And elf teams are just that's their thing. You're gonna need skill to play elves, which very true to lore. So,
but they are better this edition because you can take both gunners and you can dash. You can warp spider through the walls in ITD.
That too.
That's the stupidest thing in the game. It's the only thing they can do, and it frustrates the heck out of me.
Yeah, they're great. My brother Thomas, he couldn't make the pod either. The other half of Twin Hammer, and he loves Corsairs. I know George played a lot of Corsairs, and it is like when I played into George. I mean, our first kill team ever. Our game was Phobos first Corsairs, and it was a bloodbath. So we learned from the first game ever that they are very lethal. They have a lot of great things. Their shredder blasts and their blast shreds, which is hilarious. But it's a really cool, like, badass pirate team. So if you're looking at the playstyle, they're like lethal pirates. They move extremely quickly. They have pseudo 3 APL with the extra dash. And they have some really good ploys, and now it's like a kind of reactive. They have some cool ploys where you can create this kind of web of reactivity where somebody comes in and you can countercharge them. That's correct, right?
Yeah. You've got two ways to do that. You've got your Falcon dude who's able to like tag a guy and say if he moves I get to like move or charge into him, and then also your leader, if he's unengaged, can interrupt
if he's ready. I think
if he's ready. And also the best thing is that you have an infinite range Melta gun with your Wraith Cannon, and if you set yourself up properly, you can do like punishing relentless.
It's just amazing.
It's amazing.
All right, so Corsairs are done. Fantastic. All right, Mr.
Top right. Everybody silence yourself. Right, leave it there.
Right here.
Everybody just play them. They're great. It's a really, really good time. Unlike the other horde teams, you simply just survive. It's a miracle. It's magic. I can't tell you why or how. The Emperor protects. Maybe
if you win, you win. If you die, you're dying in service of the Emperor.
Yeah.
Put them.
They're left
further left of Brood Brothers and Blooded and below. Yeah,
they're about there. I think a little higher. I think with the ceaseless change, I think and the nerfs to a lot of the elite teams, I think they've got some more play.
And they have, I mean, everything that they had last time, except that they're obviously the mine layer,
no in-death atonement, no ankle holding, nothing.
Oh, there is in-death atonement, but it's not as good.
It's terrible. Yeah. It's something entirely different.
There's no holding ankles.
It's the copy-paste icon ability that like the Brood Brothers icon bearer gets and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Nah, man.
It's not.
You just do siege warfare.
Give me an icon bearer at that point instead.
You got free siege warfare. Saturate accurate 1.
It is that is great huge. Now. It's super good.
Yeah.
I'll take saturate and accurate 1 all day, every day for 0 CP because you always take 13. 13 now. Yeah, but it's still rough out here being a horde with a little less melee viability, definitely way less than Blooded. Having no access to a Grenadier, which I think both Brood Brothers and Blooded have, so like a dude to throw crack grenades that hits on 3s would be like great. If the demo man could simply also have grenades, I think it kind of brings them to parity with the rest of them. Yeah. There's a few holes in there. The accurate 1 saturate combo is super great. Melta will still go up and trade hopefully 1-for-1-ish with a Space Marine. Plasmas are back on the table. The way the new dashes work, you can be a hyper-mobile team. It's kind of great. You have options. Problem is there's nowhere to be hyper-mobile too.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go. There's 3 objectives. You can easily stage up without having to yeet people across the board. Very rarely, and then it'll be too late anyway because you got to do TP 1 or 2. You might want the extra mobility, then you don't have it. So it's weird. It's great when you run out of space on Vulcus, which I did in one game where there's just not enough comfortable space. They took a heavy barricade and put it up and then dashed a bunch of people up to it. It was great.
Now that heavy barricade is being upgraded to a 4 inches instead of 2 inch audio deployment.
It's competing for best in slot equipment now. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. I don't know. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. All right.
For 5-inch move Space Marines, it gives you a staging point that's probably a couple inches further up than you would normally be able to comfortably stage them, which is great. On Vulcus to threaten. On ITD, it's still weird.
So yeah. So this is Vivek talking for everybody. He played. Everyone who's not watching on Spotify or YouTube, but he played the most amazing. Now I'm going to call them Deathcore. So we should call them by Deathcore. But
I mean, we should just call them veteran guardsmen.
They were
that people can continue to use like their Catachan conversions and their Acadian conversions, and all the other fun conversions under the sun.
I suspect they are called Deathcore because, and I have no idea, but I'm hoping that there are
because it's what the kit is in 40K.
Sorry, yeah. So you about to say another goddamn guardsman team is coming?
I hope like a specialized Catachan guys.
Dude, they'll do a Catachan one that's all about having like 3-5 knives. And stuff like they'll do something like that.
I want it's the old Stalkers first. Okay, there's so many more deserving teams out there before another goddamn card.
Okay, you can produce a Catachan one like super cheap because it's basically going to be a Acadian upgrade sprue again, which is what Brood Brothers with Blooded are. Is just the Acadian upgrade sprue.
Yeah,
it's like a hilarious time. Boom, one upgrade sprue, one team.
Yeah,
make like a dozen of them.
I want an elite guard team, Valhallan Ice Riders on horses.
Dude, horses. I mean, the new Deathcore horses look so cool. We need to have the Valhallan Ice Riders. Yeah, that's sick.
Give me a 6-man guard team.
A 4-man Sentinel team.
5-man guard team.
Yeah, it has to be 5 because kill up only goes down to 5.
Okay,
yeah,
4 Sentinels and 1 Tech Priest Engine Zero.
Done. Done. Sentinels are incredible. They remind me of the Star Wars walkers, right? Those are, I'm thinking the right one. I built one for my Brood Brothers team. This dude just jumps in and he's like, I got a Sentinel. And so definitely we got to get that going on. You guys, we're going to submit these 2 teams to Games Workshop.
But not yet. We've already had like 2 guard teams with Aquilons and the Hobbits.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Well, Ratlings are their own flavor. I'll give them.
Yeah, but it's.
And I like that we brought Ogryns in and Bogrins. We're going to talk about that later, but you know.
Next team. Okay, next team. Here we go. We got. I'm going to say this right because I always call them the Euclidean starstriders.
No, that's incorrect.
But this is Elucidian starstriders.
Oh, you did it.
And we're going to put it right in the middle here. No, I'm joking. Let's. Where do we want it?
This is a super weird one because they are strong into a lot of the strong teams. If the other person knows what you can do, then they can just play around it, so it becomes a little dance.
I think it's kind of in the middle, a little more to the left though, because like they're not as easy. You don't have as many bodies as a standard like guardsman team to get rid of.
And everybody's
I still
different.
think it's easier than Corsairs. You do have the 2-3 APL guys, 2 guys who have ignore piercing too, I believe. Like they've got some stuff. The orbital weapons can win you the game, especially if you're playing in a horde team, someone gives us some blast and you annihilate them with a big blast weapon.
Yeah.
I think they're harder than Corsairs. And the only reason I say that is because you have some models to lose in Corsairs and you still have a lot of specialty. Whereas like, your starstriders, you can lose your Navis guys, but like you still need them to activate your big gun. And if you get too eager with the assassin, that's kind of
Assassin's a great trading piece. Your Electromeister is a great trading piece. Like you trade them, hopefully trade them all up is the prey.
Yeah. I do think you're right because I do think they require quite a bit of skill. They do have survivability with their ploys, but when I played them, I felt like it was hard because I like the teams like Void Dancers where each of your models could be the tool sets very easy to use in terms of like every one of my models is good. With the Starstriders, every one of your models almost can do the eyes to shoot down your plane, right? Or your big shot, right? But you do have to be like, okay, my Electromeister has to go here. My Assassin is one of my only 3 APL models, has to go here. Like Elucidia herself, she needs to do something like particular. So I do think there's particularities. I know we're going to shout out Joe. Joe, this is a shout out to you.
Yeah, Joe.
He's the master of the Canadian Elucidian Starstriders. He plays them so much. He would have so much to say on this team, but from when I played him and when I seen him play, you have all of your warrants of trade that are also a skill set to know when to use them at which time. So he does there's a lot to think about with the team. Their equipment choices are great. And I think the whole play style of just being a rogue ass, like cool ass rogue trader team that's like, your own kind of crew is really cool. And it makes for really cool conversions as well for anyone who's looking at this team. They are also a classified team, so you don't have a long time to play them, but I think they are pretty cool. So I think, are we good right here with this? This there? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna.
It's just going easy. Like we're just good stuff.
Rapid fire.
We're killing this right now. I'm just gonna do a shameless next plug here. Just right here. This is the Starstriders team. I just finished painting today, actually.
Wow.
Nice.
And
That's cool.
it's a full conversion of they're basically like a poison ivy tribe. This is from Necromunda. And I made the little dog that I really hate because it's really small. I made it a Gryphound, so it looks badass. And then that's the healer on the left. And then I made an actual representation for this kind of like massive laser coming from people's minds that I wanted to have it represented on the table. So this is just showing new players that, you have a lot of, ways that you can make different teams. And if you don't like the models, you can totally convert your team. Like this is my assassin on the right. This is Elucidia Vayne with just the, and then this is the Electromeister with the cool Electro stuff. So you could do what you want with your teams there. So
that's cheating. You used Necromunda models that can be used for anything.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But I seen really good, even if your models are a little bit tough to tell. Like there was a guy who played novitiates with kind of inquisitory models. He just brought a sheet that kind of showed his opponent. So
I remember that.
That was at Worlds too. So let's see here. Let's go back after my shameless plug here, and let's get back.
Gotta show off a little bit,
Yeah, let's get back to this is Twin Hammer. So we got to do.
I was gonna say.
So Exaction squad here. Thomas and Julio in our scene love playing these guys. It's my brother's favorite team, I think.
And Julio's ride or die for these guys.
Yeah, you need a PhD though. So I think it's got to be on the. My brother's literally created like a PhD manual on these guys.
PhD for a reason. Also, just push them down a little bit.
Yeah,
down,
I gotta say, I agree with Vivek.
Yeah,
I think they're better than Hearthkyn.
Okay, you know what? Fine. Yeah,
I think
fair.
they're really good because Thomas was pushing like Warp Coven. He had George on the ropes like a couple games because he got the nice combos in. They do have a lot of play in this edition, like a lot more play than they did last edition, let's say. So I want to be a little bit more like generous with it. I don't think we've seen the winning numbers to back it up. Julio just won a really great tournament with Exaction squad, so they do still have play, but they certainly require skill. I would say even more to this point because you need so many combos. The combos aren't like off the cuff. You can just
you're kind of sort of like a 2 APL slow elf team.
8
wood 4 up isn't much better than 7 wood 5.
They're not going to win, but they're going to make you fight for your win.
Yeah,
if you're playing into them, and they suck to play into. Because you're going to win, but you're going to have to squeeze every ounce you have out of your team.
I don't know. I mean, Julio did win the tournament playing them. Not clearly people didn't win. I like them better than Starstriders, if I'm being honest. Like that 4 inches of being able to shoot somebody in cover.
You know what? That is fun.
Like 4 inches into cover. Yeah. And that. I'm pretty sure that includes heavy.
Yeah.
And I think it also beats all the super conceals because it's extending that 2-inch rule.
Yeah.
So it's the only way to get better.
So those key shots that you need, like you don't even need the movement. You can still be in a pretty safe spot, giving yourself like some good shooting, but still, use guilt. I think it's guilt reveals itself, something like that.
Yeah, guilt reveals itself. Yeah, and my brother was pulling off some crazy plays, like because you're breaking cover within 4 inches. It's really you got the cracks, and then the key is that they do require quite a bit of skill to pull off. And the combinations are like, even with your Nuncio Aquila that your leader drops, you really need it to be...
Honestly, put them like a full brick above Starstriders. I forgot about the Nuncio Aquila. It's really good.
And I think one of the biggest buffs they had this edition was
They're all
Volkus.
from above starstriders.
Like this?
Yeah, Volkus is amazing for them.
I think
Doors.
the about it gets complicated. Yeah.
Doors, but also with all the cover, with them being able to do the 4-inch ignore cover instead of 2 inches, it's like, oh, look at all this heavy cover all over the place. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 inches is pretty scary.
Yeah.
And they have the best shotguns.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, 4/4.
And each of your operatives have the shotguns, and my brother's been playing them really nicely with, like, you bring your, even your medic has a really great shotgun. So you have a lot of utility pieces, but everyone is 2 APL as well. They're definitely, the play is a lot better. They have security, and then they have seek. I think they have security and seek, if I'm not mistaken.
Just fine. At least they get one.
They have,
playable.
I will tell you, they have, security, seek, and destroy.
Yeah. So I think you go for security. Seek and destroy, I don't think is the easiest with this team, because you're not, because even with your heavy gunners, they're not like the best heavy gunners in the game.
You're either doing contain or take ground.
Yeah.
I think there's an argument for overrun, but very, very seldom.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Like, it's into any of the 3 APL matchups. It's just like a nah. You really can't.
They can lock you down and not let you fall back. So you lock down a unit, and
That
then
is fair.
into combat. So you
What
can do a
a-
subductor and a dog in combat with something. The dog's not letting it go, and now you've got a subductor that's double parrying, that's just keeping you there, and then you're getting pelted with firepower from everybody else. So
Yeah.
A thing we will notice is most of the strong teams will have the ability to both shoot and fight. The problem becomes, like, you can't lock down a team that's going to just go remove you in fighting.
Yeah. Although I've faced him with my powered up Legionary Chosen into his subductor, and his subductor was a badass police cop, and he just, like, he literally handcuffed my guy and just, like, removed his head, basically.
I learned my lesson about the double parry. I played them recently with Warp Coven. I just took all guns on the sorcerers. Like, we're just not going to enter melee. We're just going to shoot everybody with Piercing 1.
Yeah.
and the buff
worked out.
this edition with not hitting worse than 4s is just icing on the cake for those subductors.
Yeah, exactly. Because they actually can hit now. So I would say we're in a good place with Exaction, and the play style is your badass police cop force of the Imperium, and you're kind of tanky, and you kind of have some really cool police cops that have great weapons, and they can actually arrest people in the battle. So I would say really cool team. Also, one of my favorite model sets. They look really cool.
Yes, Judge
All
Dredd.
right.
Absolutely badass.
One of my next favorite model sets here is the Farstalkers. So Farstalkers are back on the menu. The chicken men,
Send them to the top right.
the pirate chicken men. Are they easy to use?
No.
I think they
No,
still
they're
need some
hard.
skill.
I'd probably put them, like, overlap them with starstriders, I think.
Overlap them here, yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of in that medium to use range.
They have some very great, very niche tools, some interesting guns. They got stun on tap. Like, they got some juice going on.
Yeah,
Better climbs. Like, they got play. ITD is definitely probably super duper rough for them. But on
Yeah.
Well,
open,
they get a lot of lethal 5 on a lot of their weapons. And
I guess,
that's,
yeah, they
you
do
know,
have access to that,
very
which is
viable.
nice.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
piercing
they'll
2
seek light.
flamer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is magical. Yeah, they have the ability to heal a little bit. They've got a bunch of interesting guns that nobody has. Like, their sniper equivalent is a bowman. He's got different ways to shoot. It's a good time. And they have the ability to shank objectives from underneath you.
yeah.
For 1 CP, which is
That's
honestly the
huge.
thing that pushes me to put them over here.
Yeah.
And
I
I think
will agree with you, though, they're better on open. It's like, and with that
They
bound.
lose a lot of their zhuzh on ITD,
think
like
is
a
what's
lot of
right.
teams do.
has
I think
anyone played them into them recently? Khoa, did you play with them?
times.
In
Yeah,
Worlds?
I actually played them twice in Worlds.
No way.
against Orion and I
The
forget his
Italian?
name.
Did you play the Italian guy on Crute?
Not the Italian. He was from US also.
Oh,
2 US players playing Crute. But I think they're very solid. Like even before the Data Slate, they're very good into elves as well. They have like decent firepower. They're kind of scary because the gunslinger can shoot first.
Yeah.
And it's always like kind of like a deterrent when you're trying to breach a room because they're just gonna be like, I'm just gonna shoot you.
Dude.
So
the badass gunslinging cowboys of the Tau West right here. Yeah, I think they're a really cool like pirate slash cowboy kind of cool
Mercenaries, baby.
Mercenaries, yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Cannibal mercenaries.
Cannibal mercenaries. Yeah. That like a fine wine like Devin is drinking. They drink the blood of their opponents and gain their eat their meat and gain the attributes of their opponents. So I think that's a really cool thing in the meta. So it's the cowboys, but instead of cows, they're eating anyone. Everybody's on the menu for the Farstalkers.
I do love the Crude Hound countercharge plays too that you can pull off some sneaky stuff with. So
yeah, the threat range there is just like it's like crazy. Just because like they have so much movement.
Do they have 7-inch movement?
Well, they have so dogs have 8, the regular guys have 6, but you can treat every you can ignore the first 2 inches of climbs with bound. The first vertical distance, but like it's still huge. And if you use that turn 1 with your free ploy from scouting, you can get them right up the board and in your face.
Nice.
They got cute tricks.
I can't because we did not see them in big effect in the last edition, so I'm really excited to see them quite a bit more. Are they classified? They're not, right?
No, because they're season 2, so they're classified this year and next year.
Okay, so they got extended, yeah. So that's
anything that came out in ITD era, I think it goes to year 1 and 2.
Yeah, I love that team so much. All right, here we go. Next one up. We've got the Goatmen themselves, Felgore Ravagers, or
they're in the top.
The Sargor Ravagers.
Where's Jason?
That's I'm gonna be dropping a video soon on the Sargor. There's Saris Felgore, but Felgore guys, I played them quite a bit. Played against them. I played Shane at Basement Bastards
so much,
and I was rattlings into the Felgore Tide, and I killed the goats, but the goats ate the rats basically. So they were
They killed the goats. They just got angry.
Yeah, they got angry and hungry, and they just ate my rats. Yeah. It was just a tide. I think. What do we think? I think they are on the easier to use scale because they are melee focused, and you do have a second life with Frenzy. I do think they're also very strong now that Legionaries and Angels of Death assault intercessors, like they just eat those goats for breakfast. It's like lamb skewers all day long. But yeah, it's goat kebab all day long. But
I would put them to the right and a little bit above Angels.
Oh, you think they're better than Angels?
Well, just because so Angels of Death will beat Felgore, but Felgore have better matchups.
They also got a bunch of hard counters.
Yeah. But they're super easy to use.
I'd say they're easier to use. I'd agree with you. But...
And I think it's because of the killing in melee, or like the Frenzy is still broken.
Yeah,
Frenzy is still quite good.
Frenzy is really good.
They can still do a lot of stuff in Frenzy.
They're wounded while frenzied still, right?
Injured, no mission actions, count as 1 AP on a point.
Yeah,
but you just don't take primary as your crit off, or crit off as your primary.
Hold W every problem's a nail.
Exactly. You're A-clicking.
Right.
Well, I mean, I agree. They're easy to play, but it's still like 10 bodies, shitty saves kind of thing. It's easy to get wrecked, especially on ITD, because you're a 2 APL melee team, not a 3 APL. That makes move dash hatchway fight is bread and butter for any kind of combat team on ITD, and it's just something they don't get a lot of. They get the free dash stuff, the call to hunt, something like that.
Yeah.
So they get some extra mobility. When you increase the number of bodies, you increase your complexity of decision making a fair amount. Because the more when you A key with a lot of bodies, you start giving a blast, torrent, any other kind of AoE effect. You eat a handful of AoE stun grenades and end up with a bunch of 1 APL goats. You're just gonna lose to attrition.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna sit here and do nothing. They're gonna get frenzied, might get stunned again. It's
Yeah,
that's where I'm coming from and wanting to put them like just on the other side of Angels of Death for easy to use.
Yeah.
You have
Okay.
a lot more to lose and a lot less padding.
I do think, yeah, okay, maybe to the left of Angels of Death, but not too much farther, because
Yeah,
I
think
remember playing them and like being, wow, I don't actually really need to think too much, because I'm a angry like Saurus warrior right now. I just need to go eat something, and I have these second lives. Like Voyin, when I played you on Pathfinders in the second edition, we had a very tight game, but I was thinking a lot less than I would have, like playing Void Dancers into your Pathfinders or Mandrakes into your Pathfinders. Like I was just on a less mental load, I would say. But you still, like, I still gave you one of our better matches, right?
Yeah.
Even when you were so lethal with the Pathfinders. So I do think they are pretty good for newer players to pick up. It is a one box team as well, which is great. And then the only thing is, because they're so easy and they only have one play style, I found that I got not, like, it wasn't as interesting as something that has some shooting in there as well. But I think Pelting Firepower got better in terms of your shooting now, right? What do you guys think? Yeah, I think
they're shooting really. I mean, they have a gun that's full seek. That's cute. But I think
the Mystic can actually do something now.
They can get a plasma pistol. Like,
Yeah,
they can take a couple shots, but I don't think it even enters the conversation.
Yeah,
a little bit of window dressing.
It's like not too bad if you do with the full seek, because you get relentless on cracks if you hit him first.
Oh yes,
I think you gotta hit him twice.
Yeah, you get relentless on the second round of shooting at that same model, right? I think it is, right?
Yeah.
If you shoot them with two guys, you get relentless.
Yeah,
which is cute.
I think they are fun. I like that we don't necessarily have a fun category, because I do think Kill Team is in a really good situation where any of these teams are going to be really fun to pilot, because they all have different feelings to them. And Felgore is you're just angry goats who don't die, and your opponent is like, why won't you die?
It's full unga bunga.
Yeah. And I do think that is particularly, like, when I would describe being a little bit more on edge playing as an elf player, because I'm like, oh, I've got all these pretty models, and as like a Felgore player, you're just like, I'm just having so much fun here. I don't die. I'm like, you get into that kind of character. So I like that. All right. So next one up, we got, speaking of not dying, this is a team that you don't see much in this new edition. Because it is a one-box team. Where do we think we go from?
They're low.
But slide them alongside Chaos Cult for me real quick.
Beside
overlap them.
I think they're overlapped. I think they're a tough team.
Kind of same problems as Chaos Cults. Like, you got the big guys. They can't use light cover, which is not
they get cover
ending.
But
they get cover. It's not game ending, but they are big multi-wound large guys that are quite squishy, and sure, they may be able to trade with one Space Marine, but a Space Marine isn't exactly terrified to attempt to trade into it either, sort of thing.
Yeah, and
everything else just dies immediately.
But they did buff some stuff, like with that new data slate. I think they are tankier than they've ever been with 21 wounds.
Yeah, but no, losing the rollable Feel No Pain from last edition is just your ability to, because you're giving someone an opportunity to high roll, every time they get to interact with dice. Giving them the opportunity to roll a whole lot of 5-ups was great. Game changing.
They're on 4-ups now? Yes, 4-ups to subtract damage.
Last edition, it was 5-up on every single damage you took.
Yeah, they were amazing last edition.
Yeah.
I think there were maybe 18 wounds last edition. You're effectively 24 wounds hanging out.
But I think with changes to obscuring and stuff like that, and if you're positioning properly, I think they've got some play. It's just, I don't know. Well, like, no one's playing them, so we can't say definitively one way or the other. But I think they're a lot harder to chew through than they've ever been. The 20 wounds and on every single every second damage die, you take one less damage.
That's pretty good. I think it was a simpler team because, again, it is maybe we can put it to the like a little bit over here to the right of Chaos Cult, just because you just have one way to play it and you don't need to mutate anyone. You just have your four big boys, and then you have like a lot of things that can help. I do know
There's a ton of bodies.
Yeah. I do know Tom, like for example, when he started playing them, shout out to Tom. You're in the UK. Hope you're doing well, man. We miss you in Canada, but sure, I know he was playing them before he went back, and it wasn't the easiest team like to just pick up and get rolling. But can you roll a crit and Orion, they were pretty heavy into this, but I think they got nerfed heavily, right, from the last edition. So
they suffer a lot from this edition alone. I think like the combination of razor wire and everyone access to stun grenades, just like
2 APL,
some a ton.
Yeah. I remember taking the Magus and then the -1 APL ploy with Brood Brothers and winning my game against them just by like minusing the APL of their big four guys. So for anyone who's new listening, you get 4 massive dudes. They all look really cool. They're like kind of warp dudes, and then you have little swarms, and then you have little tech bugs and things like that you can leverage, and little mutants. So it's a cool team. It's a cool thematic team to play. I don't personally like the models because I'm not into the whole mutation type of stuff, but it is the models are great. And like Tom, for example, like painted his models so great. So, all right, well, let's move on. Hand of the Archon.
Ooh, another elf.
Corsairs, but edgy.
I want to put them at like just
better.
below Corsairs. I think the extra movement from Corsairs is hot.
But the 3 APL is so easy to get now.
That's true.
The Hypex is just so good. Like I just played, I love playing my Hand of the Archon, and they're so much fun. And when you just are killing stuff or even just wounding things, the roll, like it just snowballs.
You know what? That's fair.
I think they're better now post-balance slate, not because of changes to them, but because a lot of the elite teams got nerfed. So you've got more weaker models in the tournament for them to get those kills on.
Yeah, I think, shout out to Tomas from Florida playing Hand of the Archon, and also to Nestor, who showed me how lethal Hand of the Archon, Nestor from New York. He played, I thought I was up on Warp Coven in Worlds, and he just played Hand of the Archon like a lethal knife. And all of a sudden, my sorcerer was getting double fighted from his amazing fight warrior, and he just killed my best sorcerer, flying sorcerer, and that was game right there. So he showed me that with those extra APL and with the right models that you're choosing to engage in the right way, they can be super lethal. And I do think it's easier, I think, than last edition to pick up what you need. Those,
like the pain tokens giving you ceaseless on attack or defense is ridiculous on a 4-up save team. And the From Darkness Death is like, in my opinion, probably the best strategy ploy in the game, period. Just like auto crit on a target that you can definitely get. Like you pre-measure everything, check. Okay, this guy is going to auto crit that guy when I decide to shoot or fight him.
Wow, and we've actually, I've noticed we have forgot after Angels of Death to point out a model that we like from each team. Voyin, what model do you like on Hand of the Archon?
There's so many.
Just choose one. Choose your favorite one.
Okay, I'm gonna pick 2 just because I can't decide between them. But I like Crimson Duelist a lot. Hitting on 2s, brutal, and double parry with 4/5 damage, and then you can
hitting
get
on 2s is amazing.
Yeah, but brutal and double parry is just stupid. Like with hitting on 2s, it just makes him so good. And the auto fight twice for him.
I think he killed my sorcerer. That was the one that killed my sorcerer.
Yeah, and then Disciple of Yelindra, because the Stinger pistol is actually nuts. You can make that a 4/5 damage pistol that has lethal 5, and then when it kills stuff, it does D3 damage to stuff that's in 2 inches of it. And if that kills something, it continues to cause D3 damage explosions, which is crazy. And then the fact that you are also able to basically deal out Plague Marine poison tokens to people. And just have that permanent, and it's something you can use in silent. Like it's not
still just as good.
Yeah. I think last edition it was better. But this edition it's still solid. I agree.
Still solid.
Like so good.
All right. So I'm gonna be building a Hand of the Archon tier. I can't wait. They're so
much
cool.
fun.
They're like they're badass evil elves who love just causing pain. So that's great. All right, Hearthkyn salvagers.
I would put these guys a little bit left of Angels of Death because they are a horde team. They do have some issues, and a little bit below. Like how this, you put them like butting up to Felgores.
Like
I would say.
around here is good.
Yeah,
for you?
I like that.
Yeah.
because
Because
they don't have
they've got the damage output.
Got some tankiness.
They're a pretty straightforward team to play, but 5-inch move.
Yeah, it's rough. 5-inch 2 APL is extra rough.
Yeah.
no ignore piercing, and nothing, no melee response. Like you have one melee guy.
Yeah. And also the nerf to the gunners this edition really hurt.
Yeah.
And not being able to dash to climb over stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more combo movement. No, we're like, all right, yeah, move dash. Like,
And actually the biggest nerf to them was Ancestors Are Watching, where it was you get to do a free action, but now all of their guns, instead of cumbersome, are heavy.
Yes.
So you can't go with your Magna Rail Rifle, move dash, CP to like nuke literally anyone off the map. It's like, oh, you can only dash or reposition. I forget which one it is, but like you don't take it anymore.
Yeah. I do think in the right hands, and
Well,
shout out to
yeah.
Dylan, who Vivek and I played. I played Dylan twice. I lost to him in New York and Worlds. Amazing guy. But he showed me Hearthkyn salvagers in a way I've never played them before. And he was very, very aggro with the flying dude. And that flying dude, I think, is your top model if we're gonna highlight a model. It's just so cool. There's a flying hand axe dude who's just like, you die, crack grenade, and then I'll come chop your head off with an axe. And then your gunners are still pretty lethal. Like I had to watch out for them quite a bit. And they are pretty tanky. Like I thought I was up on Dylan when I was playing him with Warp Coven, and they just tanked. Like I charged his gunner with my flying sorcerer because if I get this kill, I can then blast another 3 guys. I'm gonna get it. His gunner killed me with a lethal knife. Like a badass dwarf with a knife or with a plasma knife. He shanked me basically.
Rush tokens will get
Just I was dead on the streets. Like sorcerer just dead.
He's got the angle to hit to nick the vein in your leg.
Yeah.
So they're surprisingly good in combat too. Like they're not pushovers in combat. But I do think they're not the simplest team to man. But they do have specialists that are all kind of easily.
Also, getting the bonus equipment makes life simpler for you. And grudge tokens, even though things are hitting, it's harder to hit now. You still have your grudge tokens.
Yeah.
So when you do hit, it's like, hey, look, you're the equivalent of lethal. Like every hit's a crit, pretty much.
That's what happened to my
really
sorcerer,
great into Space
actually.
Marines.
Yeah.
My
They didn't-
sorcerer had three grudge tokens, and it was just all crits, basic 4 crits. Yeah.
They can also reliably get TP2 initiative too if you set it up.
Yes.
Like,
And that's
So
what
it's
Dylan
very,
does with
very
his aggro guy. He sets it up really aggro on the jetpack warrior, and then all of a sudden turn 2, he's on 2 objectives, so he has almost a 70 to 80% chance to win turn 2 initiative, and then he can just lethally, if he has a model he wants to kill, it's almost guaranteed dead if you haven't really shot your own self in the foot by playing way too cagey with it. So that one model kind of puts your opponents on the back foot and allows you to do things. But yeah, I would say I'm kind of leaning for them to be in the middle point, because with Dylan's skill, I see that it's really good, but in the hands of a lot of people, it can be a struggle. So I'm kind of thinking like in the midpoint over here. I don't know if you guys, because I think for newer players, it's very hard to win.
There's still a decent good gun line team.
Yeah, just kick back and shoot, send up a couple operatives, 10
Yeah.
points,
You
start
can be
trade.
good, but not great with them. It takes the great player to really take them. So that's why I'd like maybe to the house. They're farther to the right than the next team on the list.
Yeah. All right.
They're a little trickier because they're a couple extra bodies. I think there might be the same number of bodies as the Hand of the Archon. They're slower. Same save. Actually, do salvagers get a 3-up save?
3-up save.
Yes.
Yeah,
never
3-up
mind.
save.
All right,
I
yeah,
think
I
the
like
10
this.
bodies.
I like this. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah,
And I think
on time.
they're like 8 wounds, 3-up save. So it's like +1 wound, better save.
Yeah.
And now you get their weirder, worse cousins.
If you put jaegers in the corner, like left,
Where are we thinking
In
here?
the middle
ever so
corner,
slightly to the left, middle corner.
Like this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
And the biggest problem I have with the Jaegers is their attack ops.
Yeah.
They have seek and
Yeah.
destroy infiltrate. If they had recon infiltrate,
Yeah.
it'd
Put
be
it all the way to
a
the
lot
bottom.
better.
Yeah, I love that it's a
All
scout
the way down
scout
now.
dwarf team, but no recon,
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a weird thing.
right?
But
That is true because they are like supposed to be badass guys on bikes that have just got off their bikes and they're like the scouting version of the dwarves, but they're not. They're
Salvagers have recon. Salvagers should be security, seek and destroy. Jaegers should be recon infiltrate.
They probably fucked that up when just printing the PDFs.
right.
Straight up.
GW is just a small indie company.
They hire writers and editors for like pennies on the dollar. We get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll
Right.
never
But
admit
yeah,
it.
Jaegers are the more interesting Votan team because they're not what you would expect, but they don't have the movement, they don't have the survivability, and they don't have the damage.
I will say I do like the full team forward move. Like
oh yes,
It's
it's
cool.
like
yeah,
orange
Forward
extra
move
drop
to
zone
your
basically.
death.
yes, it's
Or-
great. It's gonna help you win initiative TP1 because everyone gets the free reposition scouting option, but better. And then you're basically just trying to like rock, paper, scissor your opponent's scouting option. But
yeah.
I get to move forward to die faster.
You gotta move forward to give up a blast by accident, and then everybody die.
yeah,
Yeah.
Actually, I think
I played a game into Phobos yesterday. He had a Reaver. We were playing Volcus map 6 or something like that, 3 or 6, I forget.
Familiar.
He charged my sniper, vanguarded to plant beacon, and then shot my bombast.
Yeah,
Dang.
that'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's what life is playing a Jaeger.
Yeah, Bombast. I lost to the Jaegers. They have that cool shoot if you get charge ploy.
Yeah,
From
super
Alden.
Yeah.
Alden, shout out
Never charge him.
from New York.
Doorway
He
fight is
played-
your friend.
Yeah, he played a great game there, and he used seek and destroy overrun into me, and it is so strange seeing like dwarves be aggro onto your objectives. It was kind of a cool scout, like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna come fuck you up, kind of thing. But dwarves always need to have Scottish accents, by the way, in every in every Lord of the Rings and everywhere else, right? But I would say,
They sound like a particular member of the other guys, if you know who I'm talking about. In my head, always.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna do another quick shameless plug out here, just to show
More
you guys.
shameless plugs, Alec.
I mean, instead of calling it that, I'm just gonna say it for new players. We're gonna just highlight what you can do with your teams. So this is my brother's Hernkyn Jaeger team. He built a whole Beta Decima display board here. And he had the actual bikes that they are on in 40K, and he had like all this water, the water effects that he built on. He made like a plasma mining rig for all of them. And this is what it looks like. We had all
That's
this
super sick.
smoke, and yeah, it's like
It's nice, but there's 2 problems with that. 1, it's Jaegers. 2, it's Beta Decima.
right. Yeah,
What's wrong
Yeah.
with Beta Decima, man?
We were-
kind of
Everything's wrong with Beta Decima.
my brother was really like, we were both very excited for a new kill zone with Beta Decima. I still think
It's funny because
would-
Jaegers would be terrible on Beta Decima.
yeah. Yeah, because they need mines and everything, but the Hearthkyn salvages are pretty cool there. But
They have the jump pack, baby.
right, so so I think a really cool concept. I do hope that they bring back Beta Decima and make it actually good in this new edition. Right, this was not in the data slate any changes to beta beta. Right,
Never gonna happen.
I think the only chance the Jaegers have is the next season with the change to all attack ops and everything, so they can fix that issue.
Yep.
Or they do a major balanced data slate change and they give them recon.
I feel like
That's the only
they're in a
team.
tough spot because they're bad right now. But if you give them too much 3-ups, then they're too good. Like
you just give them
PL.
Yeah, because you give them recon just for the plant beacon because of your resourceful tokens. So you can do like that 8-inch move dash plant beacon, and that's the only thing that can get them like above that halfway line for strength.
Yeah.
Well, and they can plant beacon immediately. Like they don't not saying turn 1, but I mean they don't even have to move the guy from his forward deploy because you're moving 4 inches out, and that's your limit on your plant beacons, right?
On the plant beacons, yeah. All right, guys. So next one up, Hierotek.
Oof. I feel bad for these
hard
because of my buddy Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe.
I mean, how hard did they actually fall though? It's pretty bad, right?
So it depends. If you're Gabe and you can't roll well, he got his ass handed to him at Clash. He scored 3 points into Harlequins. Because if you can't roll anything, it's rough. And the nerfs they got in this balanced data slate are pretty strong.
Yeah, Khoa,
so
I'm sure you were very happy with that nerf to Tesla Weave because I played Harlequins I played my Banshees into the Hierotek circle, and they felt much better with that nerf to Tesla Weave. So
Tesla Weave was so toxic.
Yeah,
but so strong.
Yeah, we were rooming with Shane at the Worlds, and he was on the rides in. We were kind of talking about his Hyro, and he went Chrono, and he went Psychomancer, majority Psychomancer. That bubble has been nerfed. And then the Technomancer.
It needed to be though.
I love how it was described. I think it was in the Squad Games podcast that Technomancer wasn't a big problem, but he just got drive-by shot. Now he's just like lying in the ditch, like just innocent bystander. Just he wasn't the problem.
Straight bullet,
They shot the 2 other leader options, so it's like I've got a spare bullet. Let's shoot him.
So
I mean, they kind of nerfed the Chrono teleport as well. Indirectly by nerfing guard a little bit. 'Cause now with that no setup, you can't move the death mark anymore.
Yes. That's a really big point.
They needed though. Hierotek had too much utility.
Yeah.
I've played a lot into Hierotek. It doesn't matter what edition or what teams I'm playing, they give me trouble.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
they have too much utility.
Yeah, it's also kind of like Felgore and they being able to fuck with the incapacitations and the scoring.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Felgores are better because once you frenzy a Felgore, he counts for your kill up.
That's true.
Hierotek, when they respawn,
Hierotek take your points from you.
Yeah, mind you though, Hierotek are good if you're playing confirmed kill into them because every time they die, they drop a confirmed kill token.
That's cute.
Yeah. But they're still not 12 wound guys. But yeah, Hierotek are, I would say.
Do we think here is a better placement for them?
I would drop them a little bit down.
They're not easy to use.
Okay.
Well, so they are relatively easy to use. I'd say they're easier than some of the other ones, but I'd drop them a little bit down in strength and meta.
I'd stack them above
How about
jaegers.
here?
I think above jaegers.
Yeah, I kind of would put them where jaegers are now, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
like here?
No, stack them.
Over top of like the same kind of similar spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've played a couple times. I have a team of Hierotek, and you do feel like you're pretty powerful, pretty tanky. You do need your combos to come off, but like Devin was saying, you do have a lot of utility. But before the data slate, they would have been like up top in the meta.
Very good. Yeah.
But yeah, before the data, there's a reason why they were the 3.5 team of that top 4 lethal meta.
Yeah.
Well, and technically being what are they actually? Like they're really 6 active operatives with 2 bugs, but they count as 8 on kill op and they come back. So basically denying your opponent an ability to score a third of the points. Very frustrating.
Yeah, you do kill up as your primary every game because you're always going to win it. Not because you kill their guys, but just because your guys keep coming back.
Yeah. I think we were saying that was one of the biggest strengths of the team is limiting the kill op of your opposition 100%. So I like that there. Let's keep chugging.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hunter click.
Bottom left,
slightly better than Pathfinders. Slightly.
No, never mind. I did read all of their rules.
Down
no,
left.
No. We know where Pathfinders are going. We all know. Don't
Pathfinders are going off the
I
map.
think the way they operate is so goofy that nobody's even like experimenting with this shit.
Yeah.
So
It's the oval for the arquebus.
Yeah.
That 60 by 30 base.
You're gonna go next.
The arquebus. Yeah, I have a hunter clade team. I'm not going to show it now, but we made it out of those wielding guys in Star Wars, the kind of General Grievuses. We brought those guys in, and I made it into a desert. We got the Necromunda desert guys, the mission desert dudes. So that's really cool.
I think Gabe has some Delac he used for his hunter class.
Yeah, the Delac are really cool too. Yeah, we used the Ashwaste Nomads, which were really cool. So it was a mix of like, if you think of the droids in Star Wars with the Tatooine like guys with the rifles. I forget what the
Tusken Raiders.
The Tusken Raiders. Yeah, so I mixed those two elements. Hunter Clade, I think because they got they do require a lot of skilled use. I do think it is skilled to like know when to bring the two different types of great operatives that you have from the big machine dudes. I'm blanking on all the names. But the Vanguard,
it's okay. No one remembers because no one plays them.
Ruststalkers.
Yeah, so
Taser go to that.
Perfect. Yeah, to know when the Skitarians, your two types of Skitarians, the Ruststalkers and the Infiltrators. You need to know. Both.
Vivek knows what's going on.
Okay.
I do. Like, I roughly know AdMag mostly from knowing a lot about 40k. Don't worry.
And now Vanguard is better. I think the other type is better as well. But let's just say we can go on them quickly. They're not being played a lot. I played in Vegas against a guy who was great last edition. They were a little bit stronger last edition, but let's just use it there. It is you need multiple boxes, so it's not easy to accumulate.
Esoteric collection of boxes.
Yeah, and they are going to be phased out soon, so hopefully...
Which is the best thing for Hunter Class is they're going to be phased out soon, which means we should get another AdMech team at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna get an 8 wound, 4 up save Skitari kill team where it's like, here's your 2 gunners, here's your comms.
Here's your dark AdMech. That's all I want.
I don't know. We'll copy paste the novitiate to seek light within 6 inches. Like,
yeah. I think they're a really cool team for Warhammer, and and you're just crazy cool droids, like killer droids, really cool.
Yeah.
All right,
whoa, hybrids. They're not robots.
Oh yeah, it's called the Borg. Hybrids. They're hybrids. Yeah.
Resistance is futile, baby.
Is also slightly better than Pathfinders. That's
bottom left. Dude. Bottom left.
Now with their brace working in your own territory,
a little bit more time.
Fine. One square to the right.
They're not complete shit.
Yeah,
I'm okay with this.
We were just speaking about the Argentinian scene. I played Alejandro's in my last game. It was like a meme how nerfed they got in the edition. Like they weren't even a
terrors last edition, and now they're.
Yeah. Well, the worst was 2 days before Worlds when they had like that community FAQ of -1 body. It's like, dude, I'm already here, and you're removing a body,
right?
Let's just remember that one of the 21-0 games was a Breacher player who scored 0 points.
We all thought he dropped or forfeited. He's like, nope, I just did nothing.
Yeah, they were
physically possible. Dude, go get him.
And shout out to Mountainside Vic. I am your nemesis. The
TLDR for the crowd is bad. That's it.
Yes. The less said about Breachers, the better. They're not even a good Inquisition team.
No. And I think for every new player, they are a really cool team. They hopefully will be balanced even more.
They will not be balanced anymore. Do not let this man give you false hope. They're not getting brought back.
Yeah, but they are a cool Navy, like Imperial Navy.
Yes. But they have the worst shotguns. These are these shotgun guys, and they have literally the worst shotguns in the entire game.
Yeah. So just get the models if you love the way they look and you want to paint them.
You play them because you have the Inquisitorial Agent Combat Patrol box. And it's like, I feel like playing Kill Team for free.
Yeah. All right.
And then play Inquisition.
Oh, speaking of Inquisition, here we are next.
Oh yeah. All right. Put them right stacked with Brood Brothers.
Right here.
Yeah, and I think they're slightly better than Brood Brothers too, so I'm okay with it being.
Oh, well, but we can't make them the best in the meta, so.
That's true. We gotta shuffle this all down like a little bit.
Because now Brood Brothers is getting a little out of control.
They're still good, but the limit to piercing 2 is
Also,
I think it's
Kasrkin
okay
comes
because
guy.
Piercing 1 is fine now. Piercing 1's back, baby. You know, we're back in the world of Piercing 1
it's
matters.
okay, but you can still ignore piercing 1, so that's the issue, right?
It's
Like
fine.
the piercing
Look,
2 buff with
the
all of your
servitor
feats.
was bad anyway. Okay, take the auto savant, drown in CP, go steal an objective, like get her done.
Hey, your skull doesn't resurrect anymore, and your Kasrkin comms guy doesn't work on non-Kasrkins.
Yeah.
No,
The only reason they exist is for
Yeah.
Kasrkin to be playable. That's it. That's
Yeah.
my opinion.
Like,
That's
look, even if they only work on the Kasrkin guys, yeah, it's totally fine. You want it for the Melta and the Plasma anyway, and then down the road, just to like go tap points, it's all gravy.
Or you do the weird pocket strategy as Exaction Squad in ITD.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Like,
Yeah.
they got great flex.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
They're super complex because of the rosters. I mean, really boils down to, are you going to take Kasrkin, occasionally take Exaction, maybe once in a blue moon tech piece into any kind of psychic heavy team like Wharf Coven.
Yeah.
Take the Sisters of Silence. There's stuff there, but I still think they're very strong. They have great ploys. The Auto Savant is your half of the reason Farstalker is fun in a model. There you go.
Yeah.
It
I
always controls a
also-
point. Means you're going to walk on a point, tap it
I
no
also-
matter what.
The deploy deny.
Yeah. The play deny is really cool. I also actually think they're not for a horde team. They're not like, when I played with them, because I made a really cool one out of a bunch of Necromunda stuff, but I actually didn't feel like the mental load was that bad when I was playing Inquisition, because you had the Kasrkin who are better this time. I do think they are a little bit easier to play even than Exaction, I would say. It's just you have so did they get, but let's see here. They got nerfed. You can't take as many meltas anymore now.
That's fine.
Yeah, you can't take too
Right.
much piercing too.
Okay, so you might get back into, because before you just like, I'm just Melta man. I just come out with 2 Meltas, 2
Yeah.
Plasmas. I'm just so lethal. It was easy
now
when I
it's
played the
One Melta, 3
turn.
Plasmas. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, and your Mystic is pretty easy. You just buff and you get your attack rolls and the defense rolls from the leader and the attack defense. They made it more simple. This much more simple than last edition for sure. I think let's leave them there because they
I
are
think they're
still a
stronger
horde
than
team.
Exaction because they can take the best bits of Exaction. They got better
Yeah.
ploys.
I think I like where this is sitting right now. Yeah. All
They
right,
also have the
next-
shoot within 4 ploys, great.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have the same thing as Exaction. I think, yeah.
yeah,
Truth and 4.
With better shooting.
yeah, but with better shooting. I do think they are very strong still.
Ceaseless on tap, Ceaseless
Alright.
Mystic buff.
All right. Now,
Kasrkin.
speaking of Kasrkin,
All right,
Bottom right.
bottom left.
Bottom right, they're so easy to use.
My thesis is anything that is really, really bad is really, really hard to play if you want to extract anything from it.
No. Here's the thing:
Let's-
they're easy to use. They don't have a ceiling because they have no melee options.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's fair. Oh yeah, no
They're
melee
easy to
options.
use.
So, yeah, they're
You-
pretty easy.
They're easy to use. You take Inquisition.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
I
That's
just
it.
ignore it and just play Inquisition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
just like they have gunners. They're 8 wounds, 4 ups. They've got a decent faction rule for buffing your weapons. They got some rerolls. It's just not enough bodies, not enough APL.
Yeah.
And,
Still
and
die too
I would
quick.
lower them a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd put them to the floor, to be honest.
Yeah, they are on the floor. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let's put it like two little jumps above the floor.
Okay.
Definitely not as bad as Breachers.
Just like that is okay, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not as bad as Breachers.
And the two mod-
I think we should have Kasrkin and Breachers next to the words lower ceilinged. Just
The only reason I think we think Kasrkin are better than they are is because they work so well with Inquisition, and that's
Yeah.
the only time you see them in the wild. They don't exist as a solo team.
No, I mean,
Right.
they still have a Melta and a Plasma that hits on 3s. There's some stuff there.
yeah,
Some stuff there.
but I feel like the elite points were better last. Like it was better
But yeah,
last edition.
dude, this edition was like, hey, do you want one of these weapon buffs that might occasionally be useful, or like a
Yeah.
move buff? It's cute. The one that's a feel no pain is a get out of here.
Right,
This is basically meaningless. This isn't even an option.
right.
It's in my veins.
What happened to my thing?
Well, there you go.
Flashbang.
Sorry. All right. So let's go here. Commandos next.
Oh, Shane was talking about how this is.
I kind of
Yeah.
like them by Kasrkin, I'll be
pick.
honest.
Easy to use above Kasrkin here.
Lower. The lack of piercing. They
Yeah.
still-
I would
like-
I would say they're I would
Two
say
APLs
here
were
to the
rough.
left of Kasrkin because they're not that simple, but
Yeah, because they're a heavy conceal team, and that's always going to be harder.
I can just say that I played a new player in my first game of the new edition into Legionaries with Commandos, and they were literally on their third game. Shout out to Elise, and I had my butt completely handed to me 100 games in. I was like, what happened to Commandos? I faced Legionary and they just melted. My guys just were like little squashed, melted green things. Yeah.
I think Commando should be a bit above. I don't think they're that bad. Like they have a built-in 3PL for their knob now. Just a scratch is still good. 10 wounds is still a strong check.
I do half up on Kasrkin.
Like here? Because people did bring them to Worlds as well.
I think that was just more out of the fact that they used to be great.
And that was their team.
Yeah.
Highlight that Commandos
and also it's your last Worlds to use them.
It's true.
That's true, yeah.
I think Commandos had their massive run of 2024 was just massive.
Yeah.
Adrian
good.
Bonvento, just like he was the master of Commandos and just showed everyone what they did. So shout out to him. And yeah, here we go. Next up, Legionaries.
All right. Put them right near Angels of Death for starters.
I think they're easier than Angels.
Yeah, they're easier because of the marks, the flexibility of the marks. You basically have all the exact same guys. They do more.
You can just run
and
mono
you can change
slash
your
and have
rolls around.
success.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You can run mono anything where you used to be able to run
Mono's
mono.
just weak.
Yeah.
Mono
I-
Nurgle is now also very weak.
Legionaries, you're imbued Chaos Space Marine Warrior, and it was ridiculous having 7 CP or 8 CP starting.
Now
turn
they've
2.
capped your CP. Like, you get a little bit, you get a little taste, a little extra
They're
CP.
just still as good.
None of this one operative to tap your home objective and get you 4 CP. Like, none.
I do think they are still pretty strong though.
Yeah,
with
they're great.
those nerfs and with the
Well,
ease
the
of
game
use.
just plays into their strengths. Like,
Yeah,
Also, the Skin Thief is pretty good because of dropping the token on an objective for -1 AP and +1 AP to do the action.
Yeah.
It's very good. So, you're going to guarantee to lock out any 2 APL teams, but even for a 3 APL team, it stays there even after he dies.
Yeah, that's huge.
And you can go 1-for-1 on the point, and you will still control it as a Legionary.
this is a strategy I have used in TP2. If you make that guy Zange, you give him 4 APL to move dash, place the token, and just send him deep. Send him all the way down. He's probably going to die, but into a combat team, you fight first, so you're going to get some damage in. Into a shooting team, they still got to come up and kill a Space Marine. Could take 2 activations, but you'll lock them out of scoring for a turn, unless they go and use one of their 3 APL sources to move onto the point and tap it.
yeah.
Which is amazing.
And for extra shits and giggles, you give them the 2+ save into a shooting team, just like, come on.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend a reroll on me.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I do think they had like a real ease of use, and each of the marks were really good. I think having the ploys being able to affect multiple guys instead of just one of your marks is really cool.
They were top right all the way.
They were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
a
think-
stat check team.
I think right now this is good, right? It's just around Felgore. You have tools into every matchup. My favorite was the leech, where you could just life siphon with what's the mystic called? I'm blanking.
Balefile
Yeah.
Sorcerer. Balefile Acolyte.
He was my favorite operative by far. The Melta and him were the most important on the team when I was playing with them. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think they got nerfed slightly for the amount of damage you can siphon back.
The Chosen not healing on crits, and the guy who changes into a demon not being able to stack the damage mitigation.
Yeah, that one was cute.
There's-
I don't think the stacking the damage mitigation was ever a real problem.
I just ran my
but
anointed as Corn. Corn loves my anointed being Corn.
5/6 is a good break point.
But it's just the Nurgle anointed. You're able to screw with your breakpoints.
I mean, when you could also layer in like 2-up save and a bunch of that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it starts to
you could do
become-
weird shit with him. It's just like he does damage and he doesn't die. It's like, god damn.
Yeah, you
I
also
still
gave
can't
him
get over the pistols on everybody. This is the anointed gets the pistol, your gunner gets a pistol.
Yeah, but the
no one
Plague
can double
Marine
shoot.
fighter doesn't get a pistol or the heavy gunner. It's like, where's the pistols at?
Yeah, my
That
Melta,
malefic blade is just so stupid.
right? Yeah, my Melta had a pistol. He came up he shot a sorcerer in the face, and the sorcerer was just hanging on to your life, and he just like fully gangbusted him. He's like, "Here's my little pistol, bro," and then shot him in the head after. So it is kind of ridiculous that you can just put his melt on his belt and then just shoot the guy with a pistol. So Khoa, I do think, and then Voyin Malefic Blades, like they are changes breakpoints and fights as well.
Malefic Blades is terrible. It's a waste of equipment.
I mean, I never took them, but like you can still do some good stuff there. So all right, we're making some good progress. We're almost right in time. Mandrakes.
I hate playing Mandrakes. They are such a they are
They're
the opposite of
annoying, but-
everything else. They are a one-trick pony. They screw with your armor saves.
I love it.
They
They get the
teleport
AP
around.
you can't stop. I don't care who you are. You're taking this. Save on your APL.
What are we thinking? Is Voyin, you played them quite a bit. Are we here?
I mean, I think they're
I don't-
definitely on the left of requires skill, and I think for strength and meta, it depends on what are we thinking for strength. Are we thinking the ability to kill? Because they do have that,
I
but
don't
only
know.
to certain
Ability to
teams.
win game.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, win game.
Surveillance.
ability
Right?
to win.
That's the thing.
Surveillance
If you play like
is
Felipe
strong.
did at Worlds, and he was a
Yeah.
world-class player, like honestly, and
He beat me 12-8. There were 3 damage rolls all game.
he cooked
And
me
one
and
of them was because
Devin
he triggered his own mind.
pretty thoroughly with just flying around and ignoring us. So, I mean,
we-
yeah, their ability to use surveillance and just do things. Now, I think with the top level of Volkus being nerfed, I think that playstyle may not work as
Yeah.
well. So they're definitely not winning as much.
Yeah, it's hard
like,
to
as
be
he-
as
yeah.
uninteractable.
Yeah,
I
You
think
gotta
this
teleport
is
places to get to interact. You want those valid targets.
exactly.
Yeah, I think this is a good place for them. I felt like as a Mandrakes player who won my golden ticket with Mandrakes, I really loved them in the last edition. I thought the Dirgemaw, I just couldn't play the aggro way that I really love to play with Mandrakes, which I kind of miss. Like you really had a really cool mess with your opponent's vibe. I'm not a guy who just wants to play kill team and just surveil people all day. I don't think, you don't want to be the ghost that just is haunting somebody and looking at them. You want to be the ghost that like murders somebody through the wall. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think, yeah, I didn't like the way they played this edition. Voyin, I know you were thinking about taking them to Worlds.
I was trying so hard to make them work, and they just like there were just so many matchups that were bad. I think it's better now. They definitely like being able to get around warded armor on legionaries was fun. Right, being able to turn them into a 4-up save no matter what, and potentially less if you were able to get stuns off on them.
Yeah.
Huge. They have some play, but they just don't have the staying power and that reliance on trying to get that 3 APL with your was it Baneblade? I can't remember what. No, not
Flesh,
a Baneblade. That's a big
Stealer,
term.
Sculptor,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck.
Chooser of the Flesh, right?
There you
Yeah.
So yeah, like that was rough. And Beta Decima we don't even talk about with Magic. They just have a horrible time. But yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So I think
limited.
this
Their
is
recon stuff doesn't allow them to do a lot. Like Client Beacons is not really an option for them.
no.
So-
2 APL really hurts you, and the chooser of the flesh having to kill someone to get a 3rd APL is really a limiting factor.
Super telegraphed. Like your
Yeah.
opponents be like, all right, I'm gonna try and clap him first. You'll probably get one. You
Yeah.
might be able to set up one.
You get one, but he's such an important part of the team that as soon as he goes down, if any good player can counter that pretty easily. But
They're excellent into non-elites, but otherwise they're struggling.
yeah,
They suffer from stun a lot.
Yeah.
they were a massive counter to Hierotek Circle. I actually shout out to Gabe. I didn't shout him out when Devin shouted him out. He's a great Hierotek Circle player, but it was such an advantage in the golden ticket game, me and Gabe, that we played, that he was on Hierotek and I was on Mandrakes, because they just melted 2 APL teams with a high up save, right? So I do think that's a good place. Do we think a little bit further down? Because
No, I think that's good because they're a one trick.
Yeah.
It's a good trick.
And
Yeah.
It is a good
Very
trick.
disruptive.
all right, next up is Nemclaw.
the Legionaries, but better right now. These
Right
are
now?
it's like hand
Better?
of Archon to Corsairs, Nemesis Claw to Legionaries.
I don't know.
Are
They
we
still
thinking-
don't have an answer to piercing though.
But neither does Legionaries right now.
I mean, they have an answer to
Legionnaires
piercing
have-
one.
They got
Yeah, but
other
that's-
flex.
Yeah.
Piercing crit like that is if you're.
I
most
also
guys
wouldn't
who
make
have
them
access to-
easier to use. I mean, I get it. The obscuring bubble is fun, but
How
they
about we
have
stack?
lower raw strength.
Do we stack?
Stack, but stack lower. I put the Nemesis Claw below the Legionaries.
I
Yeah, I'd
think
say
Legionaries are still
Legionaries
better
easier.
than Nemesis, just because of the flexibility of Legionaries. Because again, like if we're saying Mandrakes or One Trick Pony, Nemesis Claw is kind of the same thing. And if you take a team like Phobos or anything that has Ignore Obscuring, their one
They
faction
cancel
ability.
a lot of your shtick, yeah.
Yeah,
And in the
it's
Horde
just gonna
matchup,
be-
it's like, yeah, all right, I'll have someone just
Yeah.
be my Vanguard, hang out, be visible within 6, turn off all this obscuring.
Yeah.
Pop, 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 pop.
I do love the Ventriloquar though.
Do we
It
think?
is a
How about we
wicked
think
fun
over
ability.
I'm
here?
fine with that too.
Is this
Yeah.
okay?
Like, they're definitely still strong. I think Legionaries just have extra juice.
Yeah, but
I-
I mean, I could very well be wrong too. I
you
do
think-
agree with Vivek right now, but I think we could be wrong.
I think they are as easy to use as Angels of Death, and I think the like Angel was shout out to Angel. He showed me how good they were in our first league game, Ratlings versus Nemeclaw. He just stole the objective and then went into the shadows. And then my Ratlings chased the shadows and then never came out of the shadows. Yeah. But
Rat poison.
yeah, but the Nemclaw, you're badass like vampire elite warriors, and I think they do have the tools, but I do agree they don't have as many tools as Legionaries. I think it's a little harder to play. Devin, would you think over Angels of Death?
I would.
I wouldn't put them over Angels of Death. Fucking drop that shit.
I actually like them better than Angels of Death. I'll be honest. I like the Vox Scream, the ability to kind of decide.
Well, the thing is
Like
though is
Power
that
Fist could punch.
the Eliminator. So Nemesis into Angels of Death specifically. Angels of Death, you take Auspex and you have your Eliminator, so you ignore their obscuring. And then they come into melee. You've got your duelist for the double parry. Like they're good. I think in the head-to-head though, Angels of Death slightly beat them out.
Okay, so how do you guys?
Because also you take tilting shields as Angels of Death.
All right. Put
Do you
them
think-
halfway between Angels of Death and Legionaries below them.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be hard. Just with the overlap here, I actually have very little. I'm
No, yeah,
trying to-
just
I'll just move Angels of Death and Legionaries. Put Nemesis Claw first.
If it'll
like-
I don't know if it'll let you put
It-
the Angels
no.
of Death
Okay,
in front of them.
because it's only letting me
all
stack.
right. Here, let me show you. Move the Nemesis Claw, move the Legionaries, move the Angel of Death. No, move them away from the space we were trying to
Okay.
occupy.
Let's see. Yeah,
Put the Nemesis Claw down in the space,
Yeah.
and then put the
To the
Legion.
right a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Now you put Angels of Death top left corner, Legionaries top right corner.
boom.
Oh wait, why?
it won't because the Nemesis.
Yeah,
Claw was
it's the
later.
layering is not working.
The later, so
That's
it's
fine. We know what the Angels of Death symbol and
Yeah.
Legionary symbols look like.
Yeah,
Yeah, Legionaries go top right.
Top right, other side. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
like
agree.
this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's pretty good.
We'll do angels like this. Okay,
And actually,
But-
Joff, so the guy from You'll Die, he won first at Clash. He 3-0'd with Phobos.
Nice.
He's going to be taking Nemesis Claw to Worlds most likely because Phobos will have rotated out.
okay. Wow. Okay, I think they should be like equal to Legionaries and Angels of Death though now, if not the same, right?
I mean, you have
Yeah.
space if you can just shift them like all the way right, like shift
Yeah,
Legionaries.
I would say
Yeah, that's good. We're quibbling over millimeters.
we're all good. We're all good here, right? I think they're all good in the meta right now, and I think Felgore might be slightly above them all. And I think that's good. And they're all fairly easy to use. Legionaries being, I think, the easiest to use. And then Angels of Death being less easy to use than Nemclaw, because Nemclaw you have like the protection for a newer player from your shadows, I would say. And Novitiates. Oh no. Novitiates.
I have no idea.
They were
Look,
they were like
strong,
they were like
cute.
over
It's-
here, I think, and they weren't even one of the big bad four, but they just got nerfed.
I would put them at the line. So see where Inquisitor All Agents, Brood Brothers, and Blooded are, down at the require skill line.
Happy with that.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, they're super half damage like healing thing that was like super toxic is now gone, and that was like their massive one trick.
Yeah,
And now they don't have enough durability or punch
no.
for others.
Yeah,
Four
real boys.
Novitiates, yeah. They were actually a really cool team. I thought that the plant beacon, like their ability to stay by a beacon was cool. It was these battle nuns that would plant like beacons of the Emperor and then stand by them, but It's
Too cool.
it's too cool. It was too cool. I love Battle Sisters. I made the Battle Sisters instead of novitiates for my team. I have a thing for like women in Warhammer there. Just I don't know. I find that whole aesthetic really yes.
This is
All
the
right.
stuff people come to hear. All right.
All right,
check out the
Pathfinders,
Patreon
top
later.
right. Put it in the top right.
Extra spice.
You know what?
This is
I'll
the
take-
extra spice on this.
Voyin, can I borrow Pathfinders?
Fighters are gonna go, bottom left for
No,
sure.
hang on. Can I borrow them? I'll take them to the next
borrow
Chimera
them?
monthly. I'll take them to the next Chimera
Yeah,
monthly.
play them. I would love to see you play them.
If
You're
somebody
absolutely-
comes in halfway through this and then sees Pathfinders up here, that's
That'll
gonna
be
be
a thumbnail.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
flame them.
Number
They're-
one.
It's an
team, you won't guess
integer
who-
rollover.
They're worse than last edition. Their style of team no longer plays well into the missions at hand. I mean, they got decent guns and some interesting stuff under the hood, but none of it is strong enough. It's rough out
I
of the
would say
street.
actually one of the
No
biggest
melee.
nerfs to Pathfinders was actually tac ops.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Real rough.
Because you had your faction tac op of like, I just marker light you. Now it's like, great, I need to either plant and beacon and my
You
drones
die.
don't fly and I'm 2 APL, or I need to confirm kill
Die.
and I'm a gun team.
Listen, if we just
One-
had Mod Ka as the free dash like last edition,
Yeah.
it would be better. They would not be good, but they would be better
It'd be
because you
better.
could free dash, plant beacon, and do all
Yeah.
your other stuff.
Or drones being flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two extra inches to make them 8 inches with drone controller, not enough. It's
Yeah.
one traverse.
Yeah.
Traverse.
I think
Or let's leave them off.
yeah.
Like, let's
No,
just
no,
leave
they
them
can be
on.
the bottom left placeholder. Okay,
I-
they're the cornerstone of this tier list.
Yeah.
And the problem is too, they're complex. Like it's not a
Yeah.
team that you just
Yeah.
these operatives win every time. Or
And-
Yeah, the
well,
sequencing, especially with the recon drone now, where it's like I give AoE marker lights, and marker lights now are harder. They're better now, but they're harder because you need to worry about sequencing based on movement, not just turning point.
What?
Marker lights don't give you the +1 to hit. There's just so many.
Yeah.
Like
And hard
here's, like,
teams
the
still don't give a
triangle.
fuck.
Here's
Yeah.
There's like 3 things. Pick 2. GW's like, no, we're picking 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so much heavy that like whereas before you could marker light and then that guy moving would still have X amount
Yeah.
of marker lights. Now it's like okay, I'm marker lighting a guy in heavy, but as soon as he moves, it goes away. So like that one marker light doesn't do anything for you.
You need to marker light shoot.
Yeah. I think what foreshadowed this was the kill team video that came out that was showing the Vespids versus the Aquilons, and the first 30 seconds was just Tau getting
Yeah, it's how getting
rifled,
blasted.
just slumping over, dead. One Tau guy left alive that didn't get killed by the gun servitor gets his face half blasted off by the Aquilon leader.
I half expected him to eat his own gun.
So yeah, for the greater good, but I don't know if it's
Voyin, they got us our golden tickets.
Yeah, exactly. That
Yeah.
I'm really sad I couldn't play them at Worlds, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
yeah. All right.
Worlds was
Top right, baby. Not
Canada
even a meme.
tournament. I would have brought Pathfinders to Worlds.
Put that in the top right.
Trust me.
Phobos,
yeah,
love
Phobos
them.
are-
Love them.
Actually, I'd put them a little bit to the left,
Man,
just
lies
because
to you.
just because of your operative selection.
And they're
But
fragile
they aren't.
compared to other Space Marines.
Yeah, but the 7-inch move, the ignoring the climb stuff, the changing orders, the
Reaver
changing your
shank.
strategic point, it is holy shit. Like I'd bump them up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So I love Phobos. They were my first team. They showed me that even with 2 operatives on 1 and 3 wounds, they can do some damage.
Yeah, man. Ignore injury on tap. They're great. Real strong team.
Yeah.
Excellent operative selections.
Yep.
Ignore obscuring. You're able to treat them as like a 4 APL team because of Vanguard and all that shit. It's
Oh,
just
dude,
like
Yeah.
Double strike
Omni-scramble.
into elves is like, all right, chop them up. We're making elf
Yeah.
sushi.
Double
Yeah,
strike.
here in these
Yeah.
streets.
Very good.
They are really good, and they didn't get nerfed in comparison to any of the other big.
I don't think they got touched at all. I
they
think-
didn't. Yeah. And
got-
they
here's
came
some-
out.
They're getting removed though, so sad news. But they'll
Yeah.
probably be back.
Well, same thing as Legionaries and Warp Coven and Void Dancers. Like a lot of the big teams, because we still haven't done Warp Coven and Void
We
Dancers. a
still
lot of
haven't
those
done
big
Plague
teams
Marines,
are
baby.
losing out.
Yeah. All right. So
Well, and the 4 smokes and 4 stuns. That's honest.
Yeah.
their best
Yeah.
features. But
Yeah,
that's,
I'm
And also because
all I have to say.
the smokes are big enough that you can get two Phobos entirely
Yeah,
within
you have
smoke
6
with
millimeters
about
to
like
play
5
with.
millimeters to spare. And the big thing is the infinite height. So if you're on like bottom layer Volcus, you can drop a smoke and it's going to go all the way to the top.
Yep.
There you go. Enough said about Phobos.
All right, Phobos
Next.
back on the menu.
We're missing Plague.
Bottom left. Not.
I don't think they're
They're
better than
definitely
Bronze
in that
Jaegers.
bottom left quadrant ish.
Yeah. Actually, we're missing Plague Marines.
I like them right there,
Look,
Alex. I like them right
For
there.
the record, Plague
Are we
Marines are going
missing-
top right. I think Plague Marines are the new problem team.
Oh dang! Let me just get some Plague Marines here. We're just
You don't have to.
missing
It's
them.
top right. We can just pretend it's there.
Yeah. Let me see.
We get to see the browser history right here, guys. This is
Yeah.
it's all ladies in power armor.
and Plague's looking for his nearest clinic.
He just
I have a weird disease. How do I get rid
power
of it?
armor hub and then
Ladies in
Power armor.
white hair, ladies in power armor, nuns. That's it. That's my searches right there.
there you go.
Uh,
It's what the people want to hear, Alex. You know.
I'm blushing because it's true, man. This is all right.
Hey, look, he saw that John Blanche, Lady Gaga, Sisters of Battle, and he just like, yep, that's me.
I'm in.
My life has been chosen.
I'm in. All right. Let's hope.
There you go, Plague Marines.
All right. So we got
Top right.
All right, put them to the slightly above Phobos,
Yeah, I'd say they're
and then all the way to the left.
all the left.
Yeah, man, it's hard. 5-inch movement and 6
Really?
space marines is tough.
And the contagion is no longer brain dead.
Yeah,
No, the contagion is still just as brain dead. You just don't. Like, you always had CP to play with. It just takes some of that.
I think it's either easier to play because they're so tanky. I would
Like
say
100%. I'm just fucking around. Put it
Oh,
on the
okay,
right.
okay.
Never
Yeah,
take the heavy gunner. Whoever takes the heavy gunner, you're wrong. I'm sorry. In
Okay,
every
so I took the heavy gunner into Felgore. It was amazing.
no, Vivek, you're
It
wrong.
either deletes
Sorry.
them. No, look, you got to do the math in every matchup. In that particular matchup, it was on ITD. You want crits and shooting. You have 5 dice sitting on
Yes.
2s. It's a torrent weapon. It's 3/3 damage. Perfect to do. Sink 3 dice into someone. Give them a poison token so they frenzy when they activate. It's a good time.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. Otherwise, you're all wrong. That's it.
You're
And
getting into 7
freeze
winters
these-
too. It's interesting.
can't you build every single operative out of the starter box as well?
Yep,
No.
you get everything.
Like so,
Can
these guys are rotating in 4 years, pretty much.
Yeah, probably.
They're literally a starter box, single box team. Like not even Angels of
if
Death
you
is
can
that
get
good.
the starter box.
Well, and you can also just build them out of
But-
the Plague Marines
Yeah,
kit. You just
like
have to
I-
somehow kit
Yeah,
bash.
my
Or
set got
have
built
Space
out of
Marine heroes.
Plague Marines, the Icon Bearer, and I bought one of the Chaos Psyker boys and built
Yeah,
him
so
in
you
as
can get
Sorcerer.
your Plague Caster.
Put him to the right of Phobos because they're way easier. Super
okay.
easier, much easier.
I thought you were you
Maybe.
you got me there. Yeah.
I'd be happy.
Vivek is being
Well, look,
Vivek.
if I were gonna make the tier list, I would start by taking every team and slamming them all to the left. Being like, if you're talking about meta and competing, nothing is easy to play.
Yeah.
Everything's hard if you
Yes,
have
I
to
know.
roll dice.
Yeah.
Also, that,
I do think that we are in a good.
but this is a
place.
good cluster. I'm glad that Felgore is up there. They're getting some respect amongst the 5 Space Marine teams hanging out in
Yeah.
the corner.
Yeah.
They are the
Still,
easier
those
to
are good.
use, and they were good this edition. Still will be. So I think. Ooh, Aquilons.
Bottom left.
These guys are
No,
I think they're like 1/3 to 1/2 left.
Like
Yeah.
this, like scout.
Yeah.
their scouts.
They haven't-
Yeah.
Definitely
a little bit more to the
Scouts,
right.
though I like them better.
they've been
I'd say they're a little bit more to the right because of with the buff to hot drop, where it's even dropping down from vantage. It's a little bit easier to like drop in like your Melta Gunner,
Yeah.
and be able to have
Yeah.
them be strong. TP 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Pocket Relentless with a free vertical drop. Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about Scout Squad, did we?
No, we
No.
didn't.
they're okay.
we were looking
They
for close.
to 10
We-
wounds. They have
yeah.
a bit of 3 APL.
They lost the lightsabers.
Yeah, we could talk about them at the same point as the Aquilons here, because yeah, I don't think my brother made a really cool Chaos Scout Squad from Necromunda. They're just big dudes. It was cool when we had the Scout. It was the Scout meta for a very brief time,
Yes.
where they all got power knives and they got the
Shout
extra
out to
operatives, and everyone had scouts all of a sudden. They just came out of the woodworks. But it's over again, dang. But
I mean, in the last buff with the new scouting option for like +1 APL, so you get a new scouting option and another new choice, which is +1 APL. That's pretty good.
do you think they should be like up here Do you think they?
I'd give them a little bit higher because also don't forget they've got the new thing, the targeting oculars. It now gives lethal 5-up and saturate for 2 guys.
Okay.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I'd put them probably around Exaction right now, you know?
Do you think?
Right around there.
I didn't like them. I played them 2 days ago. I didn't like them.
Okay.
The placement is so rough, and you're 2 APL. You don't really have a way to shrug off the APL mods if somebody's doing stuff to you. And you're what, 9 operatives, 10 operatives?
Here's 10. For sure it's 10.
So
Do you think?
I think we're there right there. They're like a little bit easier to use than they were before, but they're still like just under that 50-50 line.
Yeah. I think we're golden here. And Aquilons we like here as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Next up, Vespids. Now that we talked about Aquilons.
Stack them with
These
Aquilons.
ones are going to be interesting because you've got the infinite communal points now.
yeah, you can stack them pretty good.
I think because before it was a big problem with them because like I need to do literally anything other than scratch my ass. And even then, 50-50, I had to use a point for it.
Do we
I
think?
don't know that they're easy to use, though.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think they're easy to
they're
use. They're
not
one of the
because-
weird ones.
Yeah, because they seem easy. It's like I just run forward, guns go burr.
Yeah.
But you're going to die.
Yeah.
And the
shout,
problem is, too, if you don't kill what you're shooting at, you die.
shout out
Yeah.
to Jason.
Yeah.
Jeff Spoon, who like took these guys on one of the first tournaments, really did really well with them. He was saying they're pretty. He was joking around, I think, because he always makes it seem like he's like
He's a real
said he's
jokester.
really smooth brain, but I know he's like really good strategist.
I think I can quote him saying he said he had the smoothest of brains.
Yeah, the
At
smoothest
least
of brains.
once.
Those days, he's like, I just went up and shot, but he's such a good player that I think that's not like the expectation for a new player to play that well with the Vespids. But yeah, what would you think right here? Same strength as Tempestus. What do we think, guys?
I think so.
I would put them a little bit farther to the left because they look simple, but they're not as simple as you think they are to perform well.
we
I
think
actually think Tempestus is easier to play than Vespid just because
Okay.
the communion points. You got to, like, it's something you have to remember actively because if it's not within 8 inches, you're like, oh crap, I got to spend one of those.
Yeah. Do we think
But also the recon drone, the drone now got a decent buff as well. Give me 2 seconds.
I think it's like a
They're-
bubble lethal 5-up.
higher or lower than the Aquilons or same?
I think they're about the same because the problem is any team that has ignore piercing shuts them down because their piercing goes
Which-
away and now you're
Only a
just
handful
shooting.
of teams now.
But there's still elites that people will play. Like it's, Legion people still play.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
always going
but
to see
I mean,
them.
making a piercing crits one is.
Well, also for Vespids now with the recon drone, it's lethal 5-up as well. It's not just saturate; it's lethal 5-up saturate.
Yeah, I do love the dev wounds on Lethal 5. It is great.
Yeah.
I think almost everyone has death wounds.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, it's
Put
in
them
the
like
base gun.
look half a square above Aquilons. I think they got better.
I think they've got a higher skill ceiling,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at least for now, we'll see how the meta shakes out.
All right. Void Dancers, Khoa.
Oh, I think we can go hang out with the top right.
Yeah,
clan, right?
they're like basically, I'd say they're like probably above Felgore and above Phobos.
Do you
Yeah,
how
when your dice are hot,
ease of use, Khoa? What would you think?
I think they'd be easier to use than Phobos.
I
Just-
agree.
Are we
Yeah,
thinking right
same.
here? Maybe
Yeah.
I don't think they're stronger than Plague Marines.
no.
I think Plague Marines give them a hard time, but I
I
think
think
overall,
two Plague Marines, but overall teams, right?
I think
Yeah.
I played.
Plague
Yeah.
Marines, one of Plague Marines' biggest strengths is look at everybody in the top right. They do well into all of them because all
Yeah.
of them want to come hit you, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Come eat my contagion, please."
Yeah, because when I played James from Chimera, he's like that was the final of the team tournament, and I was Void Dancer into his Plague Marines, and I tried like going straight into them, and he just ate me up. So that matchup is hard, but I think the Void Dancer matchup to other teams is pretty good.
How do
Yeah,
you like
the
the Void
3APL
Dancer?
flip belt.
Yeah.
They ignore all piercing.
Yeah, that's great.
the big thing about Void Dancers is they're just all like they're the multiple queen pieces in chess.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
glass cannon, like a regular person can easily kill them. So they're like slightly hard in that aspect. So they're just not like an auto win, but they have a ton of tools, especially against the elites. Like even before the nerfs. Like they could decently go toe to toe with Legionnaire and have an okay matchup with War Coven as well as like Inquisition and Hierotek during that time. So with the nerfs now, like that helps them along that aspect. And just like they're one of the few teams that don't really have nerfs to their CP, which I really surprised that Luck of Laughing God didn't get nerfed. So that like 3-4 CP, super strong.
Yeah, the regular players getting a free ploy here and there when they need it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Khoa, how do you like the Void Dancer and Felgore matchup? That one I'm really curious about. Because
I think like Felgore's a hard matchup.
Yeah, it feels like Void Dancer might have a bit of an edge on the surface, but the frenzy starts to really fuck you up when you get tapped by almost anybody.
I also played Jason Void Dancers versus Felgore in another final in Maple Leaf Wargaming, and that was a hard matchup back in the day. I just think it's like when you can't kill them immediately, and I would say, Khoa, let me know what you think, but like even our shooting is not reliably, even if you do kill
rerolls, man. No rerolls.
Yeah.
Then I mean our shooting is way better. I was trying to tech into shooting with Void Dancers last edition. I think the shooting is even better this edition because it's just so much more reliable. What do you think of that matchup?
Yeah, with the Felgore matchup, it is tough, I'd say, because you can't rely on charge, fight, shoot, which is like the classic combo for Void Dancers, because they just tar pitch you with Frenzy. So you either have to like spend your free CP to like fall back and then maybe like Frenzy another goat. It's very much like you gotta like force them on their 5-up save and just shoot them up, like,
Yeah,
and then
force them to
maybe
charge
follow
into
up with
you and frenzy them their activations while they're fucked
Curtis
up.
Falls, baby.
Curtis Falls. There's
Good
so
for
many ploys that are just like beautiful on this team, and they are an easy of use team because you are 3 APL. You do have some good ploys, but they're easier to come to mind than the Blades of Kain. I really like
Iceman attacks versus Kain. Like
another point in favor of the Plague Marines is they have rerolls. Getting that Lumbering Death Ceaseless is pretty easy. Like, use Ceaselessing all the time. TP3 and 4, Ceaseless.
Yeah.
Ceaseless. You charge me Ceaseless.
I do think personally I started on Phobos. Then I went to Custodes, and then I went to Void Dancers. I feel like my kill team career really took off with Void Dancers, just because all of a sudden I could understand, okay, I have 3 APL across the board. Every piece is so good. Just like Khoa said, like every piece is a queen. Good shooting. Severe now on the weapons is so good. More reliable hitting, more reliable shooting than they were in last edition, and that they were even good last edition, right? So they lost the fly, but I think the flip belts are good. They got overcorrected.
One's climb is just as good. It's just like
I mean, having to drop for the full amount is hilarious.
Yeah.
They can drop as well as Phobos, which is kind of funny.
It's really funny. I think, like, I don't know. They're not cats. They can jump up, but they can't land on their feet as
exactly.
well. So,
yeah.
And that was Alex's love of Samus out of Power Armor team.
Yeah, they were blonde girls this time. Blonde girls.
All the casino girls.
My Void Dancer, they were Vegas blonde girls with tight blue bodysuits. And
Samus out of Power Armor.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Is there a theme?
Alex has a thing for latex.
Is there a theme building out here? This is the spice. Oh man. All right. So next up, here we go. Warp Coven, the Brotherhood of Sorcerers.
Bottom left.
Yeah, dude, slam it bottom left.
Put him
right below Felgore.
Here, I think they're still as good as Felgore.
They're straightforward. I think they're a little worse than Felgore. I think they'd struggle into Felgore, dude, straight up.
I think they're still strong A tier personally. Like the only thing that really changed was ignoring piercing entirely, and the what's it called? And the psychic abilities have been nerfed a little bit.
Dude, Doombolt going from 4/4 Dev 2 to 4/2 Dev 2 basically starts to strip away its ability to kill elites the way it used to, where it's like you could threaten to one tap.
The Khopesh is still good. I'm still modding enemy dice.
Okay, but no rerolls there. You do still get the dice modding. You lose Relentless from a light, went down to Ceaseless. Like there's a lot, and You do get a lot
can't
of
fly
piercing,
chemtrails.
which is nice.
Yeah.
But do they
The
struggle with
scrolls
Felgore? I
being
feel like they would be
change your
decent.
boon, I think it's rough.
Well,
If the
it's a
Felgore player
5
just
life.
runs at you, you'll get there eventually.
So has anyone played Warp Coven after the Data Slate?
Yeah,
with
I
or
played.
against them?
I played a couple games. They're still decent. They're still fun. On Volcus, Fly is still amazing. 6-inch rebound is totally fine still. You just plan around it instead of 9. It kind of frees up that boon to do something else. I rocked 7-inch move sorcerers to have an elf. It worked out. It's pretty neat. Yeah, like they're still strong. They're still fun. I think they got toned down in a fair way. I think the only unfair thing is the change to Doomball. I think that's the only thing that's excessive. They made it so you couldn't use it twice, and then they nerfed it as your strongest gun. It was like, come on.
Alice, you're just complaining because you guys are all Warp Coven bandwagoners.
Listen, I think it's a fair change. I
got-
like
I
where
got
they are.
Siege.
I don't feel bad playing them now.
Yeah.
Before it was like I came home from Worlds and I was like, I just can't play this team because it's just not fun for anyone to play into.
Yeah, it was
It's
far.
just a bad time.
They had so many good tools that you just
They still
felt
got
as a
great
Warp
tools.
Coven player, you like this Egyptian god imbued with this kind of like chaos energy. You just felt so powerful. Your sorcerers were just the most badass dudes on the tabletop. And
Rubrics don't need a 2-up save all the time.
yeah, the rubrics
kind
for
of
like
non-reciprocal threats.
That was unnecessary out the
Yeah.
gates. Like, nah, it should never be a 2-up
That,
save.
yeah,
Come
it should
on.
not. We saw the mistake with Custodes, like everything being 2-ups
Yes.
back in the last edition. Like, it's the
Doesn't
same
work.
mistake.
yeah,
But with just a scratch.
Yeah.
With essentially just a scratch.
it was. And dust is not that strong. You'd think the iron, but like they're made of dust, so why are they 2-up with just a scratch? But
You're not hurting it.
Someone get the room
You're still
up.
doing damage. That's why it's 1 damage. You hit a fleck of dust.
yes.
Scratch the paint.
All right, next up, what do we got? Wormblade.
Ooh, you can slap them right around Inquisitorial Agents, Brood Brothers, and
Wow.
Blooded.
I think they're pretty good.
Ceaseless on
worse
tap
Brood
is
Brothers.
it's delicious. Okay.
I think this is a good place for. I think they're pretty solid. Like they're pretty spicy still.
Yeah.
They're Brood Brothers, but different.
They're just worse Brood Brothers. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Which
they
is
had.
weird considering all the Ceaseless, but the Brood Brothers have access to better guns, better
Yeah,
leaders.
Better
Yeah.
guns, better operatives. The medic being
Better
able to
strike.
heal someone and not have APL mods on Brood Brothers is just
Yeah,
crazy.
I
It's
did.
it's a nice one.
I did hear on just another Kill Team podcast there was a Wormblade player on there and he was pretty high on them, like that they could kill most things in the game with your
Useless, man.
operatives. I think maybe that's a good place for them right now. Everyone's kind of in that good balanced area right there.
Well, I think we're finally getting to explore other teams because it was like I think the problem with when it released was it was a mad dash for like it was an arms race, right? It was
Yes.
just what's the strongest team? How can I learn it the fastest? And let's go. And so
Yep.
people learned like 5 teams and that was it. And now we get to actually explore the edition. So
I do think
Now we
that,
can explore Plague Marines till the next Data Slate.
Also, I think the other thing is that people got through Worlds, we got the data set, and now people are planning. They're thinking about what's the next team for Worlds next year, where you're gonna have a lot of Warp Coven, Legionaries, Corsair. I'm blanking. Phobos. A
Void
lot of the
Dancer.
top teams are gonna rotate out for Worlds, so people now need to see what is good now and has the potential to stay the same or not get nerfed too bad before
Yeah.
Worlds.
Agreed.
I think those teams you are gonna have your Nemesis Claws, your Felgores, your Hearthkyn, Hand of the Archon,
Angels.
Plague Marine.
Angels of Death, yeah, Exaction, Blades of Kain, all of these all over here, like just for anyone watching, I think it would be all of these could be legitimate, especially the ones down here with another balanced data slate, but definitely
Half of the ones above that line are getting wiped out.
yeah.
Deathcore, Wormblade, Blooded,
Corsair.
Corsairs.
it's so sad that Blooded's
Working-
getting wiped. I just have to say, just
Yeah.
because like they never
Blood's
really
pretty
got
fun.
their time in the sun.
Yeah. Oh well, Ratman would argue he is the sun. Yeah.
I mean, he plays them very well, but they
Yeah.
never got to that point where it was like they were just solid, right?
They're
Like,
just
good
balanced,
this
yeah.
season, But yeah,
I can't wait to do this tier list after the next classified drop. It'd be
agreed.
great.
Agreed.
Clean this
Also-
up.
things are going to change, not just based on that, but also I'm curious to see what the missions, like what is the mission pack going to look like?
Here's the thing. It was definitely written probably before this dropped, so I don't think they're going to fix the 3 objective problem, which they really need to bring back. I think 4 objectives feels more fair to balance the
you need an
14.
odd, yeah, it needs to be an odd number. You can't have the even split, because then defensive teams just start to get too, like Hierotek becomes really good again.
Or
you give the horde teams an extra
3, some
objective
maps
to
are
play
5.
and an extra place to clear, you know?
I think 5 would be fine. I'd be happy.
Or just jump up to 5, go back to 5, that's fine too.
Some you do some maps are 3, some maps are 5.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go for Rekkas then next.
Bottom left, not even a meme. They're not great, man.
Yeah.
They're
better than
lose
Pathfinder's
to stun effect.
How about they're pretty easy to use though, right?
I played in them as Plague Marines with stun grenades, and you have Nurglings on tap, and it was like, yeah, you can shut down half their team. And
I think
we played a game. You just shut down my leader immediately. Can't do anything.
Yeah, I played another one where I took stun grenades, and I'm like, yeah, okay. On top of that, it's like, yep, I'm throwing stuns out. I'm getting multi stuns. Like, okay, nobody can do anything.
They're deceptively difficult to play because they look super simple, and then you're like, wait a minute, I get stunned. I don't position properly. I need to be able to shoot or fight to get the extra APL. Like,
for shooting, you just don't give them the shot. Just don't give them move shoot.
Yeah,
easy peasy. Charging, you're like, all right, give a handful of people charge to get the thing going, and then you go move dash shoot and you pick people up where they can do it.
So do you think this is a good place for them?
Honestly, I think I could beat a Rekkas player with Pathfinders.
It's rough.
I would take that.
Okay, so
it's very punishing.
Don't you guys have a monthly coming up?
We do. You know what? Though I'll talk to Jason. I'm gonna see if I can get that game going. We'll see. I'll play Pathfinders.
Let's play it on TTS. Let's just see.
Okay.
I'll play Rekkas, you play Pathfinders. Let's see what happens. I think I lose to Pathfinders too. I don't think they got fucking shit. You
think they're worse than Commandos?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like just where they are now, because the problem is that like they start at 2.
And the bomb squigs are an annoying positional liability most of the times. Like you want to aggressively position them to charge. Realistically, you just take both. Aggressively position them. Like, all right, even if you get initiative, you only deal with 1. I get 1 charge off, sort of thing. But you can still whiff. Like in a Plague Marines, you hit on 5s with that bomb. You know, like you're not really doing much.
And even if you get the like proc them to blow up on death, they're injured when they're shooting because they're dead. They're less than half wounds.
Yeah.
So you're hitting on 5s now, which is horrid. Like,
and you can't use the Rekka points with them.
You can gain them, but you can't do anything.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't have like much utility as like kind of like compared to Hierotek, where you can like revive a guy or APL a guy, and you can't even hide them because they're always engaged.
The leader should be 3 APL.
Yes.
First and foremost, like off the bat.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd love to see him 3 and be able to go to 4. I'll be honest, and just everyone else.
Or do the 3 handout 1. You know, that's fine too. Like give him access to 2-3 APL operatives. The problem is the bomb squigs are quite devastating into horde teams because if they get that charge, like okay, I'm gonna pick up these 4 guys over here because I'm gonna spend 1 to increase the blast at 2 inches.
Yeah,
and go.
Honestly, if I can trade out the bomb squigs for more regular guys, I think the team would be more playable.
Yeah, honestly, just drop both bomb squigs or give the option of another dude. Or problem is, it's a 1-box team. They'll never do that.
Yeah,
that's true. You know, they would.
Give me the option to drop them. I know.
Yeah. All right.
But I can take them with Pathfinders.
All right. Poor Rekkas. The orcs are not in a great place then now. Rattlings. I should have put Skaven picture here.
All right. Step 1 all the way to the left, and then we can determine it's north-south.
Okay, so playing the Rattlings myself, I would say this is a good area for them right now in this current meta here.
I think they're easier than Hand of the Archon though. I think they're tough, man. The dashing and the sequencing, the pre-positioning and the pre-measuring is a lot. Your visibility, you fuck up your pre-measuring with your visibility too. Like it's some shit gonna go down.
So I would say
shorter in the dark.
I went 3-1, like not having actually looked at the rules and just playing them for the first time.
He cheated.
I went 3-1.
They went 3-1, but with now playing the rules.
No, I played the rules right. I'm just saying like it was easy for me to concept it. Like the scarpering is not as hard as you think, because it's like, okay, I don't get it at these like I just, as soon as another team's model goes, then I have the option to dash, and if I don't dash, my next operative can, right? So I think it's deceptive, gives you deceptive threat range. I do think the Ogrins, I haven't even played with the Ogrins with Ripper Cannons, I just play with the Bulgrins, and it's a pretty simple play style where you just throw the 3 Bulgrins up, at least if you just take that. I don't think it's that complex. I have not played on Vulcus though yet, because the Basement Bastards tournament had a great thing. So Vulcus might make them a little more complicated to play. What do you guys think? Have you played against Ratlings?
No.
Yes.
You played Jason.
I have not.
Yeah,
no.
I played Jason with them, and or against Jason playing Ratlings. I was playing my Blades of Kain. We're practicing for our league stuff. ITD. If you miss position with Ratlings, you're in a heck of a lot of trouble, honestly. Like, as soon as you start killing Ratlings, it's all over.
6 wounds, man. Bolters.
Yeah.
Well,
Lad
like,
guns.
Yeah.
striking Scorpions have such a field day because it's just an auto kill. Because the 2 mortals off the monsters and then just
4 from the
rolling
normals.
hits. It is brutal. So, I think the Ogrins have a lot of play. I think people are sleeping on them because Jason likes to give them the APL boost, and then it's charge, fight, shoot, or shoot, charge, fight.
Yeah.
Their own.
The Ogrins, you right now, even Venture Minis just came out with one where he was saying that he was going with 2 Ogrins and 1 Bulgrin, or maybe 2 Bulgrins and 1 Ogrin, because with the 1 Ogrin you can always give him the 1 APL boost.
Yeah.
The Bomber is really cool. Like, as a Brood Brother player, I found there was some synergies there with the Bomber. Even though you only have 3 inches, you're still trying to get within 2 to break the cover anyways. Yeah. So he's a good 3rd APL guy to give. I thought the shooting was quite good, but then I was playing them on Morok, which had a little bit more shooting lanes, and then like Basement Bastards has like the coolest. It has we played on all of the maps, not just like Vulcus. So I thought that was okay. Into the Dark against Felgore was kind of hard. And then when I was playing Angel with Nemesis Claw, as soon as the Nemesis Claw ran away, I think it was Extract. As soon as he extracted it and ran away, I really had no response for him. But if I had Ogrins, maybe I could have moved up and shot him. So
here's a devious thing that Jason and I figured out too on ITD is that, like, if you're looking at the Rattling Bomber with his tripwires, it doesn't say anything about how far it needs to be from accessible terrain. You put it so that the trigger point is halfway through the door. So a model moves, trips it, but can't. It ends the action, right? So you have to end back on the other side of the door, and you're now -1 APL until your next activate. Like, it's just stupid. So a 2 APL model can't cross the door. And then if it's a 3 APL model, you have to move. Then you get stuck on the other side of the door. Then you have to go through the door again with either a dash or whatever you have left.
That's cool.
Stupid.
I heard they were crazy in ITD, so I guess that's one of the gross things you can do.
Because you do that, and then you can put a mine, like a regular. Well, you can't put a regular mine on the other side because it has to be other markers. But it's like you're just waiting on the other side, and then you can have guys like your Bulgrin and Ogrin come back in and just clean out guys on the other side of that door.
Tripwire, razor wire.
Yeah. That's what I did in my games: the tripwire, razor wire, and mines. And then you just funnel guys into good shooting lanes for you. And because you have Scarper, you can always you can do enough to get yourself over things. Which is, I mean, you can't climb with a dash, obviously, but it's you're deceptively quick is what it is. And if you have 3 Ogrins, then you're never scarpering with the Ogrins or Bulgrins. So you can always say, like, okay, I'll move a Rattling, then I'll move a Bulgrin and Ogrin, then I'll move a Rattling, then I'll move. So you do have that natural kind of
tempo,
right? So what do you, so only Voyin, you're the only guy who played into Rattling so far, right? So
yeah, I've had a lot of fun playing into them. If it's damning. If you're a low wound team and you're trying to get around, like even the 3 APL Blades of Kain, it's hard to maneuver because as soon as you trip those tripwires, it's like, okay, now I'm down in action, not only for this turn, but the next one as well.
Yeah.
So
I think because of the height on Vulcus, I would say they're probably not the easiest to use. I've never played them on Vulcus, so I would just assume that. I think they're not as good as Hand of the Archon, Corsairs, Inquisitorial Agents, or Blades of Kain. Just now, I think that's a good nudge down. I do think they're easier to play than Hearthkyn for sure. Yeah. Or strong than Hearthkyn, let's say.
yeah, stronger for sure.
Ratlings. I'm just taking a look to see what their attack ops are.
Their attack ops are great. You can steal an objective.
They
with
are
the
security and infiltration.
With the Raider,
Okay.
you can all...
So that security infiltrate is better than jaegers because it's not seek and destroy infiltrate.
Yeah, you can either play surveillance or you can do implant. Or implant is always a tricky one for me because I find myself going down on the kill op sometimes, but it's not bad. But also you could just play your classic security measures. You don't really want to play. You could.
Don't want to play take ground first of all.
No, you don't want to play take ground. I did play the take ground in. Those are some of my wins were from a take ground because I don't think people assume that I was going to put so many rats in a building.
You could get away with it.
It was
I
just
think you could put Bulgrin in a stronghold on map 4, for example, and just
any
launch
map where
them.
it's split, you can think about it,
yeah.
but
Because throw a Bulgrin on the door, he's double parrying, he's got a 4/5 weapon, and he fights first.
Yeah. They're pretty it's kind of like blooded, but you have 3 Ogrins instead.
Yeah.
It's pretty spicy. They're like with the Ogrins and Bulgrins, I like that team. And especially when you have the ploy where you go into the other person's half, you get rerolls. Or if you're close to objective, you get rerolls on your Bulgrins and Ogrins. So they are really like very good tanky, and you can shoot into combat. So anything just lines up. The big shot is kind of hard to get off, but it does have a good mobile profile as well. And what people just need to look out for is the your Raider and the Sneak Sniper. They don't have as many dev wounds. They don't have dev wound 3. They have dev wound 1. So it makes things a little trickier on that sense. But when they hit hard because you get the guaranteed severe and you get the lucky.
You hit those dev wounds and it's like, all right.
Yeah,
give me that kill up.
Right? You're like, I need dev wounds. I got dev wounds whenever you need it. And I need a 2-up to hit. I have 2-up. And because I'm shooting, because I've Scarpered now, I can just shoot on my stationary profile, right? So it's, you get your move before your stationary profile. So they do have a lot of things that aid the team. I do think like Games Workshop absolutely smashed it on the design. Like, I think it feels exactly the way that Ratlings and Ogres should feel. But guys, I think we've achieved a really good map here. I mean, there's a few things, guys, leave it in the comments if you disagree. But I think there could be little nudges here and there, obviously. Everything in that mid-pack. The beautiful thing about this new post-Data Slate meta is, like, there's nothing that's crazy above. Like, Void Dancers and Phobos still have hard matchups. Plague Marines still have hard matchups with, like, the 5-inch move and stuff.
Corsairs are rough.
And Corsairs, like, there's no ease. You're not going to take a team and be having every single thing like Warp Coven did or like Legionaries did or Inquisition, where you had everything. You just had everything and, like, twice as many weapons, let's say, as other people did. But I think we're in a beautiful meta for Kill Team.
Yeah.
And I think I like this kind of tier list because S tier and A tier, it can kind of get a little too much, like boom, boom, boom.
Compressed.
Too much tiered. And this is more of like an overall map. And I like talking about skill because any team, right? We were talking about Hearthkyn, like Dylan Gill with Hearthkyn can beat like most of the players on the planet because he's mastered that team, right? So everybody who's like, Khoa is like a master of Void Dancer, right? So he, once you sink into a team, much like Vetguard with Vivek and Pathfinders with Voyin and Devin last edition, you guys were all just like unbeatable with your main teams, and that's because your skill expression got so high with them, right? So I think I do like that skill, and I do like the ceiling. And this gives people a good map. So, boys, you absolutely smashed it on this one, gentlemen.
Thanks for hosting. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We got to do this more often after every data slate, and even just discussions on teams. I'm going to actually section this all off, so when people see this on YouTube, they can look at the specific sections and then put it in the description as well. And then for anyone who wants to just see the whole tier list, they're going to get a really good in-depth. So, guys, we did it. Thank you so much. Thank you to listeners who have listened and watched up to this point. You guys are legends. And to the legends on the call, Khoa, Devin, Voyin, Vivek, you guys are amazing. Can't wait to see you and play you guys again.
Well, speaking of that, so Vivek, are you coming to Montreal?
I'm working it out with my boss tomorrow.
Yeah, because I know Voyin, you were supposed to come last week, but you couldn't.
I can't come to the March 1st one either. I'm aware.
Dude, I'm trying, man.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'll just wait.
It's a little ways to wait. One of these years.
Vacation days.
Yeah, no, I understand. No, it was a little bit last minute and everything, but it's like,
I was really hoping
mean,
to be in like
Max-
April, because April I could do.
So, Devin, maybe you want to tell the audience what.
Yeah, so we are hosting the first Montreal GT for Kill Team, March 1st and 2nd at the military base on the island. We have 2 golden tickets up for sale.
I'll buy one.
Up for sale, up for grabs.
Go bring your cash for Devin.
Pay to win.
Yeah, yeah. The tickets are $85, but it includes parking and meals and coffee for both days. Because we're in the officers' mess.
That's solid.
That's amazing.
That's meals for the whole day, or
so-
one meal a day?
It gives you lunch, but coffee, and I think snacks as well. But it's also parking. We are about 1 kilometer away walking from the nearest metro station if you're going to take the metro as well.
How many miles is that for American?
0.6. 0.6 miles. It's great. We're doing a prize table. So kind of like what CTC does, but better, because I don't want people who win to have second dibs at the prize table. Yeah, we're going to be doing this. We're looking forward to
All right, I'll do my best to be there.
an actual GT. Also, with the way it looks like you guys are getting shut down for golden tickets, this might be
Did Chimera
some of
also
the
not get
only-
one?
Chimera got 2.
Okay.
Nice.
Chimera.
Is this for your April
Yeah.
one?
This is the April one, which we're gonna have one for the winner, and then there's gonna be one for the best overall.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing. So we're doing 6 games. So that gives you a total of like 120 something points. Hobby is going to give you another 30 to 40 points. So first place, best general, best overall is getting golden tickets for us. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And we're going to have another golden ticket event, 1 day RTT later in the year.
Okay, you
Amazing.
CC me on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. We need to talk to Bruno, the guy, because we're doing all of these under the umbrella of Imperialis. This one guy, Bruno. So he's kind of like the 40K TO for the Quebec region. And so he's like, oh, I want to start expanding to Kill Team. So he applied for golden tickets for Kill Team without even confirming with us if we were running events yet with him. And so since he's a big 40K, so he's done like Black Shield stuff and everything, and he almost covered for CTC this year because they were having some issues with location.
Wow. There's no kill team at CTC this year.
I saw that. Is there no kill team?
And so they're having issues. Alex, could you stop the recording just to make sure we don't put this up?
Yeah.
All right, guys, behind the scenes.
Patreon only.
We're actually gonna Patreon only. For our listeners, we're actually gonna post all of the upcoming GTs in Canada. Khoa has one in the West in Regina, and then we're talking about the Montreal one, and then there's one in Waterloo, Ontario, and Chimera. So these are all golden tickets. I'm gonna list them all for everybody as the nuggets and the reward for listening up until this point. And list the bribes that it's going to take for the golden ticket. Joking, yeah. They're not for sale; they're for conquest. All right. You have
to sell with blood.
You have to come and conquest for these tickets. All right, guys, listeners, thank you so much. We love you guys, and let's keep on growing the kill team, make it a major world game because it's such an incredible game. Thanks, guys.
Woo!
All right.